Why you struggle financially? Do you know why you've got no money at the end of the month? Because you have the habits of poor people. You see, rich people, we have very, very different habits compared to the poor and the middle class. Today, I'm going to teach you what those habits are. We are what we repeatedly do. Human beings, we are creatures of habits. You notice that you kind of do the same thing, the same routine over and again and again and again. See, getting rich is not an act. It is a habit. So it is staying poor. It's also not an act. It's not something that just happens to you. It is a habit. So let me teach you the 3 best habits of rich people. The very first habit of rich people, and that is they count their money. Poor people don't count their money. They get a paycheck, they deposit the paycheck, they spend the money. They have no idea what the expenses are. They have no idea how the money flows. You notice poor people, they job, they have a job and wait till maybe once a year when they file the tax return, the taxes that are owing, is how much you have to pay. They look at the numbers. They don't even look at the fucking numbers. They just, okay, all right, that's how much I need to pay, file tax return, and that's it. And look at it maybe once a year. Rich people, we don't do that. We look at our numbers regularly. We are financially literate. I'm not a numbers person, don't get me wrong, okay? I'm a concept guy, okay? I'm a big picture thinker. I'm a visionary. But I am very, very careful and I'm very aware with how my money is flowing. I look at my numbers. I log into my account every single day. I want to look at my cash flow. I want to look at how much cash reserve I have. I sit down with my accountant every single week, look at my financials every single week, looking at my financials across all my companies. How are they doing? Because what gets measured gets improved. So habit number 1, rich people, we count our money regularly. How often you count your money? How often you look at your bank account? Not bitching about it, but how often you look at your every single line of expense, all your revenue, where that comes from. Is it improving? What do you need to work on? What are those key performance indicators? Are you looking at those numbers? So that's habit number 1. Habit number 2 is they pay themselves first. Now you've heard of this before. Oh yeah, I know, Dan, I've heard of this before. You gotta pay yourself. Do you know actually what that means? Paying yourself doesn't mean buying yourself a fucking car. It doesn't mean taking that vacation. It doesn't mean that, you go blow money on entertainment. Oh yeah, I'm paying money myself. No, that's paying everybody else. When you're buying a car, you're paying the automotive company. When you're buying a house, you are paying the bank. When you are traveling, you are paying the traveling agency. You're paying the hotels. You're paying the flight company, the airplane company. Paying yourself meaning that you put your money aside and you invest your money. Now, I'm not talking about being frugal. If you know anything about me, you know my work. I'm not talking about being frugal and being cheap. I'm talking about taking a percentage of your income and putting that aside, pay yourself first, and save it, and then you invest it. That's what I mean by paying yourself. And a lot of people, if you read the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, it talks about that you should save 10% of your money and pay yourself 10%. I'm telling you, nowadays, with what's happening with inflation, with what's happening in the world, every fucking thing is more expensive. If you want to get rich, paying yourself 10% is way, 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 way not enough. You should, at the very minimum, I don't care where you are, start off with 10%. I don't care if you're making $30,000 a year, you pay yourself 10% of that. 40, 50, 60,000, you pay yourself 10%. And as your income increases, I want you to also increase the ratio. So you should, at first 10%, then you should aim to save 15%, 20%, 30%, 40% to a point where you are making so much more money, and then now you're only spending a small percentage of what you earn. That's your goal. That's called paying yourself. So that's habit number 2. Pay yourself first. Habit of rich people number 3, and that is rich people are constantly improving their earning ability. Because you might be thinking, Dan, okay, I want to pay myself first, but I'm not making enough money. I'm only making a few thousand a month. I couldn't even afford to pay my bills. How am I going to pay myself first? First of all, you got to have the habit of paying yourself first. If you're not paying yourself first, even a tiny small percentage, when you're making 30, 40, 50, 60, $100,000 a year, I guarantee you when you're making $1 million, $2 million a year, you're not paying yourself. It is a habit that I'm talking about. And in order to do that, in order to be able to, every single year, to be able to pay yourself more and more and more and put into investments, you need to improve your earning ability. You need to find ways how you can add value to the marketplace, how to add more value to the marketplace. So every single year, your income is going up every year. If you've been working in the real world and you have your own business and your income kind of stays flat for the last 2, 3, 5 years, then shame on you. It means you're not learning. It means you're not thinking. It means you're not growing. Every single year, your income, you have to strive to improve that, your earning ability. And rich people, we're always constantly looking for ways to improve our earning ability, but also looking for ways to add leverage, to apply leverage into what we do. Maybe it's through relationships. Maybe it's apply leverage through learning. So I know I have more ideas and more strategies. I can improve what I do. Maybe it's through better people that bring on better people to my team so we can perform at a higher level, right? Maybe it's through marketing. How can I get my message out there? How can I have people know what I have to offer? We're always constantly looking for leverage. So those are the habits, the 3 best habits of rich people. Understand this. I'm going to leave you with a quote. You do not decide your future. You decide your habits. And your habits decide your future. So click on the subscribe button below. Let me know what habits you have that you want to get rid of, that are holding you back. Some poor people habits. How do you get rid of that? And what are some of the new habits of the rich that you are going to develop? And also comment below. Let me know how this video has helped you. If you've been watching my work for some time now, let me know. And also check out my videos on this side as well. Go ahead, watch those videos right now. Until next time, I'll see you in my Bentley. What's the one thing that rich people buy that the poor and middle class don't? So you see it on Instagram, you see it on Facebook, sometimes you see it on YouTube, that you see them, the rich people, they have these nice watches, and they drive the Lamborghini, the Ferrari, the Bentley, they stay in luxurious hotels, they have like huge houses and all these things that they buy. And that's what people see, rich people, that's what they have. But that's not actually what got them there, right? So what did they actually buy? Rich people, one thing that they buy is they buy assets that the poor and the middle class don't. Now, what are assets? I'm talking about income producing assets. Assets that appreciate, assets that would make that money. So example, it could be a real piece of real estate. It could be an apartment building. It could be a company. It could be stock. Any assets, investments that would put money in their pocket. Versus poor and middle class, what do they buy? They buy liabilities. If you study a little bit about Robert Kiyosaki's The Rich Dad Poor Dad, you know that the definition of assets is it's assets, it's things that put money in your pocket. And most middle class, they buy liabilities such as their home, their primary residence, that they think is asset, which is not, because assets are supposed to make you money while you sleep, versus liabilities is to eat you. It takes away money from you while you sleep. And you look at poor and middle class, you look at their financial statements, very often they have very little or no assets, 0 assets, and they have a lot of liabilities, their home, their car, and all that stuff, but they have very little assets. So rich people, we buy assets first, then the assets buys our luxuries, versus the other way around. I'll give you a perfect example. So instead of asking yourself that, saying to yourself, I can't afford that, it's too expensive. Rich people, that's not how we think. That's a very low level poor person mentality. I can't afford it, right? Rich people, we ask the question, Not only how can I afford it, but how can I make this make me money? How can I make this make me money? So instead of thinking, so let's say for this car, so I could have just buy this Bentley anytime, but I waited for a period of time because I set a goal and say, okay, instead of just buying a liability, I need to buy the asset first. So I need to buy an asset that would throw off enough cash flow, in my case, a real piece of real estate, enough cash flow that I know that would cover my monthly payment of my Bentley, right? So instead of me just buying a Bentley, which then would I have to pay from from myself, from my own pocket, I say, okay, let me go through a step. Let me buy the asset, the one thing, buy the asset first. When the asset throws enough cash flow, that pays for my luxuries, that pays for this particular car that we're filming in. So even though when this car, I might change 2-3 years, when this car, when I no longer drive it, when I sell it, whatever it is, guess what? I still have the asset that's working for me. That's the difference. Rich people, we buy nice things. We buy the nicest things. The difference is we don't want to use our own money. We buy the assets first. We invest first. We buy the investments first. Then we buy liabilities. The definition of rich people, the rich is very simple. Rich people, we are entrepreneurs who invest. I'll say it again. We are entrepreneurs who invest. Versus even if you're a business owner, instead of just buying stuff from your business, make the money from your business first, right? And then you can put into investments. If you've watched my wealth triangle video, you know I talk about the 3 stages, right? If you have not watched that, make sure you click on the I button. Just watch that first, then you know what I'm talking about. So high income skills, and then I talk about your scalable business. I talk about high return investments. So rich people, we are entrepreneurs who invest. So that's the one thing that rich people buy that the poor and middle class do not. Let me give you one more tip. There's one thing that we also buy that the poor and middle class do not. And that is rich people buy time, poor people sell time. Rich people buy time, poor people sell time. You think about people who are struggling financially or employees, they sell their time. They get paid based on time. How many hours I get, how many hours I work, how much do I get paid per hour, or how much do I get paid per month or bi-weekly, right? That's how most people think. Rich people, we don't do that. We buy time. We buy time because time is the one thing that you cannot replace. This second that you're watching my video, that second is gone. The minute you watch this video, that minute's gone. You can't replace it, I can't replace it. I cannot replace that. Customer is replaceable. Money is replaceable. Time is not. I cannot create, manufacture more time. Money, I can always make more money if I have the time. If I run out of time, I cannot do that. That's why time to rich people is our most valuable commodity. That's why I fucking hate it when people waste my time. It's worse than stealing from me. It's worse than stealing money from me. Because money is, I can always make it back. The minute that I waste, I cannot get it back. And if I use the time wisely, I could use it to make a lot of money. So the reason we buy time, we buy talents, we buy people, we buy people that could help us. We buy people that could save us time, right? So that's why that 2 hours you spend, cleaning your home or doing all this stuff, mowing your lawn. A quick story. One time I was visiting a pretty successful CEO. The company's probably doing $30 million a year. And I visited his office, and I went to his office, and I couldn't believe it. The minute I got there, he was mowing the lawns in front of his office. I'm like, what the fuck was that? Right there, it tells me, my God, this CEO does not value his time. The 2 hours he spent mowing the lawns, like he could not have found better things to do. He could not have found better ways to invest his time. He couldn't find a better way to utilize his talents. He's mowing the fucking lawn. Seriously, right? It makes no sense. When I talked with him, I was giving him a hard time, right? So rich people, we don't just think of return on investment. That's one of the words that you got to learn. ROI, we think in terms of return on investment, your assets, your liability. But we also think in terms of return on time invested. Return on ROTI, return on time invested. That I invest this time doing this thing, what's my return, right? So I know if I spend 2 hours watching a movie, that movie didn't just cost me $20, $30, $40. That movie cost me thousands of dollars, if not tens of thousands of dollars. Then I know that when I watch a movie, I have to ask myself, not that I don't watch movies, I love watching movies, right? But I know also realistically that is not a $40 thing, right? That cost me tens of thousands of dollars. So then I ask myself, okay, it's the escape, is that experience, is that worth that kind of money? And I look at that and I say, okay, you know what, it is. It is. That if I'm taking the time off and spending my family, that hour costs me money, but I'm willing to spend that. Very consciously. Versus people have no concept. Very consciously, I know that I'm investing my time that's worth X amount of dollars with spending I'm not trying to make money from this hour or 2 hours. I am spending with them. I am investing in that time. And when you think of it that way, guess what? You'll be more present. That's why every time I watch a movie, rarely I say a movie is like, oh, it's so bad. No, it's okay. At least I can justify a little bit mentally that shit, this movie just cost me fucking $20,000. It's pretty good, right? It's not 40, it's $20,000 of my time, right? So, joking aside, but that's what it is. You got to think of it that way, how you value your time. So that's what rich people do. Rich people buy time, and if you don't value your time, you're not going to be successful. You have to value your time. Everything. Bill Gates has his appointment, booking, 6-minute increment. 6-minute increment in his calendar. That's a billionaire, right? My mentor has his in 15-minute increment. Now I also have my thing, sometimes 30, sometimes 15-minute increment. How you manage your time, how you invest your time, your most valuable investment that you have. So there you go. That's what rich people buy. The one thing that they buy that the poor and middle class that they don't. Don't look at just what they have, the fancy car, and that's the thing. Before we go. Because maybe when you had no money, you've been struggling for so long, you have been working hard for so long, and suddenly when you make a little bit of money, and you all the image that you have about rich people, all the nice thing, the nice car, all the things that they have, suddenly you make a little bit of money. I'm not talking about a lot of money, a little bit of money, and you say, I've worked 15, I've waited 10 to 20, 30 years for this. Fuck it, I want that life. And you go spend the money. And you think by spending that money, that makes you rich, that makes you fucking poor. That doesn't make you rich. You only see the service, you see the result, you see the outcome, you don't look at the fucking process. Look at how they got rich. They buy the assets first. Before they buy the fancy watch, they buy the investment. The investment makes them money, then they buy the fancy watch. But you don't want to do that. Suddenly you make a little money because you're so fucking insecure. You got a big fucking ego. You want to show the world, you want to show your family that you fucking quote unquote made it, which you haven't. You want to look rich versus be rich. You go buy that fucking watch. You know what? You wear that watch and you thought you fucking made it. Everybody thought you made it. You did not make it. You just made yourself poor. That's not what makes you rich. But if you can have the self-discipline, you have the self-control and say, you know what? I'm gonna buy the assets first. I'm gonna buy the assets first. Once you buy that, your assets, you can buy all the fucking luxuries you want. Your assets pays for it. It's okay. Buy the nice things that you want. It doesn't quote unquote cost you because your investments are providing for you. Investments are feeding you. It's making you money. That's the difference. So think about that. Don't just look at it and say, oh, I want the nice things. It's not the nice thing is a result. That's the next step. First, you got to build a portfolio. I didn't have nice things for the first 10 years of my life. It's only now I've like quote unquote after all these years. Okay, now I have people say, oh yeah, Dan, you got the, I didn't have the fucking Bentley overnight. I was driving, Air Master for a number of years, right? Then Audi, not that Audi's a bad car, but it's okay, but it's not a Bentley. For a number of years, right? Only recently, now enjoying life. And people look at they'll look at where you are today, but they don't look at where you came from. Ponder on that. Comment below. Share with me what's the one thing that you think also poor and middle class buy. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Until next time, I'll see you in my Bentley. I have been getting so many questions. If you follow my work, you are familiar with my wealth triangle. If you have not watched the video, click on the button right here and watch that particular video. So many people asking me, Dan, what are some of the high income skills that I could develop today that will free me from financial struggles and worries forever? Now, in case you don't know what a high income skill is, I define high income skill as a skill that you could develop in a short period of time that will make you a minimum of $10,000 a month. Basically 6-figure a year without a degree. That's how I define high income skill. Now notice, I did not say a high income job. I'm not talking about a high income job. I'm talking about a particular skill set that you can bring value to the marketplace in exchange of money. So let me share with you a little bit about my journey, how I have developed all my high income skills and how I kind of stacking each high income skill one on another and build my empire. The very first high income skill that I have developed, which is copywriting. Yes, copywriting. Now, if you don't know what copywriting is nothing more than salesmanship in print. It's persuasion in print. It's meaning crafting the ads, crafting the sales page, crafting the video sales letter. And back then I was writing for full page ads, yellow pages, direct mail pieces like good old paper envelope stamps. That's when I got started. So copywriting. So I was writing these marketing literatures for companies and entrepreneurs, and they were paying good money for that. At first they were paying me a couple $100, eventually then $1,000, $2,000, $4,000. Then at the peak of my copywriting career, I was actually making about $10,000 a month as a young copywriter in my 20s. Now, that may or may not be a lot of money for some people, but to me, back then, I felt like $1 million. I thought I was rich, right? I thought I could do this forever. It's awesome. So then as I was writing these sales letters and copy and for companies, for entrepreneurs, now they're asking me, well, so Dan, this is a great marketing piece. Well, how do I send this out? Where do I send this out? What list should I send this out to? So then I was transitioning into doing some consulting for them. So went from copywriting, I added another high income skill to my tool belt, which is consulting. I was consulting with them first on an hourly basis, which is a horrible idea. Then it's more per project. It's a little bit better. Then later on I learned, I got smarter, and I started charging a retainer. So I charged them on a monthly basis. So I was getting paid month by month on a retainer. So I added another 6-figure income to what I do. That's my second high income skill. Then from there, I went into digital marketing. I went online. I was selling things on eBay, growing my business. So I believe the third good high income skill that you could develop, especially if you're millennial, if you're young, is digital marketing. It means that you are building funnels for people. You are helping people manage the Facebook. You are helping people grow their Instagram. You are helping people, any of the social media platforms, because companies and entrepreneurs, there is such a demand right now in the marketplace that they're not caught up with what's happening with social media. They need help. And you could charge a good amount of money helping them do these things. Things you're already using every single day, so you might as well make money doing that. The great thing about this type of high income skill, everything that I'm talking about so far, copywriting, consulting, and digital marketing, you are helping entrepreneurs and companies make more money. And it's easier to charge a recurring revenue model, right? You can charge them $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month to do this. It means that you don't need that many clients to make $10,000 a month, right? If you get very, very good, you might just need a few clients to make $10,000 a month, just from home in your spare time. Number four, high income skill that I believe is very, very powerful, and I didn't know about this before, but now as I'm doing this, I know the power of this, and that is YouTube. YouTube. The power of being a YouTuber. It is a great high income skill. It takes a little while to get it going, but once you get it going, and not just AdSense revenue, maybe in the future I could talk about this, but you can make a very good living if you know what you're doing. As a YouTuber, you can share your passion, you can share your hobby, you can go traveling and just kind of make videos and make good money doing that. Now, I don't even count on what I make from YouTube. It's like a tiny bit of money, but for most people, it is a good way to make a living. It's a very powerful high income skill, and also you get to impact people, you get to help people. You can also see how your videos, how your message, how your story is it's impacting people around the world. I think that's a pretty special high income skill. Number five, what I believe the most powerful high income skill of all that also makes all these other skills, high income skills, work better is closing. In my case, high ticket closing, the ability to close sales. If you have the closing skill, when it comes to cooperating, you'll be able to charge more money. You'll be able to close better clients, better contracts. Consulting, you need closing skill. Digital marketing, you need closing skill. YouTube, making video, you need to be able to communicate, you need closing skill. So I believe closing skill is what makes all these other skills work. What this whole thing boils down to is the ability to communicate. Write this down. Communication equals wealth. Comment below. Communication equals wealth. You will not be able to create wealth without being a good communicator. So you always want to work on your communication skill. So those are the 5 best high income skills that I believe, because those are things that I have personally done. Without a degree, I don't have a degree. If you know my story, I'm a college dropout. But because I've mastered these high income skills, then what I do is, when I grow my companies, I simply take these skill sets I have, and have other skill sets too, but I take these skill sets and then I transition, I use the same skill sets to grow my companies to millions and millions and millions of dollars in revenue. That's what I do. So there you go, 5 high income skills. Comment below and let me know which one you feel resonates with you. I get so many requests from you, from people all around the world, asking me to mentor them, and I know that I'm not very accessible, and I purposely make it that way because for my own insanity, because of my social media, and because I have so many people study my work. I'm at the end of the day, even with my team, I'm still only one man. I only have 24 hours a day, so I cannot possibly mentor everyone and reply to every single comment. Otherwise, I would have no fucking life. But this is the way that I could mentor you, where you ride along with me and answer your question, and then so that other people can benefit from that as well. That's why I create this YouTube channel for you. But people want to learn from me. This is a way for me to virtually mentor you, that I can also deliver more value and create more impact to more people 24/7. So you want to learn from me, make sure you comment below. Make sure you just watch all my videos. You will learn a lot from it. Today, I want to talk about one of the myths that drives me fucking crazy is do what you love and the money will follow. Bullshit. Bullshit. I don't know who came up with that concept about like the secret to success is do what you love and the money will follow. It is one of the most ridiculous, one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Because let me ask you a question. Are you doing what you love? And you wonder where the fuck is the money? Or do you know people, they are doing what they love and yet they're struggling financially? I rest my case. That dog doesn't hunt. Do what you love and the money will follow. It's like saying, you know what, eat whatever the hell you want and you'll lose weight. Or sleep with every single person that you meet and you have a great marriage. It's as stupid as that sounds. It's not about that. It's not like you love it and then you'll do well. It has nothing to do with that. When it comes to business success, which is what I know, when it comes to business, it's not about do what you love and money will follow. Now, it helps if you actually enjoy what you do, because you do more of it, you get better. It's not do what you love. It's you do what it takes. You do what it takes to be successful. I'll give you a simple metaphor. Let's say if you want to lose weight, you go to the gym and you get up in the morning, you do cardio, you go running for a few miles, and you watch out for your diet. You don't like any of that shit. You do not love it. You do not love going to the gym, pumping those weights, not eating the food that you want. You don't love any aspect of that. Okay, you want to eat that fucking burger, right? You want to eat that steak, but like, you want to drink that beer, but fuck man, no, I have to. You don't love any of it, but if you do what it takes, and you are going to the gym, you got up every morning and you're showing up every fucking day, consistently over a long period of time. You do what it takes. Guess what? You get results. No different in business. It's doing what it takes. It helps if you love what you do. Not do what you love. You love what you do, because here's the thing about business. The business world doesn't give a fuck. The world doesn't give a fuck. You're doing what you love. You're not doing what you love. They don't give a fuck. They only care what value you're providing to me as a consumer, as a customer, in exchange of my money. Do you understand my needs? Are you solving a problems for me? Are you fulfilling a need that for me? If you could do that, and I trust you, then I would give you money. It's it. There's nothing to do with that. There's nothing to do with do what you love. You do whatever it takes, and if you love the process. There are things I could tell you in my business that I do. I do not love them. I do not love them. When I have to craft a marketing campaign, when I have to deal with people, when I have to hire a new person, right? You know, one of my friends joke about it. You know, business would be a lot easier if we don't have to deal with customers and employees, right? If we have no customers and no employees, it would be a lot easier. Well, I wish that's the case, but that's not the case, right? It is like that. There are a lot of things within my business that I do not love, but I need to do them in order to grow the business, in order to sustain the business. I have to do what it takes, right? You think like I enjoy this. I turn the camera, answer a question. I enjoy this. I don't enjoy preparing for the work. I don't enjoy getting all the camera equipment, right? I don't enjoy, looking over the music and all of that stuff. I don't enjoy any of that shit. I enjoy just turning the camera, we talk. I enjoy that part. But there are other aspects of what I do that I do not love. But I cannot do what I love without those things. Everyone wants the glory. Nobody wants to work for it, right? You want to have the glory, you want follower. If you want to impact people, you want to share your message in the world, you got to do the fucking work. There's some days, I don't feel like making a video. I have those days, believe me. But because I commit myself to make a video every fucking day, I am here, right? I show up with to the best of my ability, and I commit. That's what it takes. You got to do what it takes. It's not do what you love. It's do whatever the fuck it takes until you get there. That's the formula for success. So comment below if you're getting this. If this is making sense to you. And make sure you hit the subscribe button below. And check out my other videos. I started Boss In The Bentley. So don't buy into that bullshit and that would save you so much time. Forget, I'm going to find my passion. Fuck that passion. Do whatever it takes. What if it takes you 20 years to find your quote-unquote passion? And that thing doesn't work, and that thing doesn't make you money, and that thing doesn't make you successful. Now fucking what? What are you going to do? Have another 10 years. Find the next thing that you love. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. So don't buy into that, okay? Until next time, I'll see my family. Have you wondered how to become successful? Have you wondered how successful people think? Over my career, I've had the privilege of interviewing probably hundreds and hundreds of highly successful people. And today, I'm going to share with you exactly how we think. To become successful, I think the very first thing you have to understand is this, that successful people, we think very differently from the rest of the society. Because most of the society, the general public, they are not successful. So the way that we think, the way that we view things are very, very different. And today I want to share with you just some of the distinctions, some of the powerful distinctions that how incredibly successful people think, so you can start today making some new decisions. That's the purpose. Now, I could probably spend a couple hours just talking about all the little distinctions, but today I want to give you three major ones. Here's the very, very first one. Long time ago, I've had the fortune to have lunch with one of the most successful, one of the wealthiest businessmen in Vancouver. And at the time, I think he was worth about $500 million, about $500 million. I've had the privilege to have lunch with him and just kind of pick his brain a little bit and want to learn more about how he does. And at the time, he was, I think, 52 years old. And as we were talking, and I was asking him about like what lessons he's learned in his career and you know what is his view about the economy and about his business, his vision. And you got to understand this person, this businessman is worth $500 million at 52 years old. He's done a lot of different things, and he was so excited. All he could talk about is his vision, what he's gonna build, the legacy, and he's like, it's incredible. Although he's 52 years old, he's as excited as a little kid. And he was sharing with me, I will never forget, he was sharing with me his vision for the next 50 years. 50 years. He was talking about after he's gone, how he wants his succession, and how he wants to make sure the company keeps running, how it's going to donate to charities, like the legacy and its foundations he's going to support, and all these things. And he's just so excited. And I was like, wow, a highly successful guy talking about his vision. He's 52 years old. He's talking about like 100, like when he lives until 100 years old, or if he passes away, what's going to happen. And I'll never forget that. And that's the very first thing that I noticed. Successful people, they think long term. The more successful they are, the longer term that they think. I'll give you a perfect example. Look at someone who's a homeless person. How far do they think? They probably only focus on the next meal. Where am I going to get my next meal? Where am I going to get that few little bit of change? An employee, a typical, or maybe someone who works in more like a manual labor kind of job, right? They're thinking about when am I going to get my check in 2 weeks. They think as far as 2 weeks. A little bit better employee, been thinking about monthly. What I'm going to do, when am I going to get paid? How much am I going to get paid? They're thinking about what I need to focus on a month-to-month basis, right? Or how do I do enough so I don't get fired? That's not a good fucking attitude, by the way. That will sure get you fired. Or a manager of a corporation. They think about quarterly, right? What's my quarterly benchmark? What are some of the quota I need to meet? What's the goal? What's the objective, right? Quarterly. An entrepreneur, a good entrepreneur, might think about a year out, right? In 1 year, what are my goals? What I want to accomplish in 1 year. So they think long term. Me, I think about 5 years out, 5 to 10 years out. So I would have a 10-year plan myself, and then I would like to reverse engineer what do I need to do in year 9, year 8, year 7, am I on track? And then I will break it down into monthly goals, and then I'll break it down into daily goals. If you've read my book, F You Money, you will know I believe in the concept of DIG, daily income goal, DIG, dig. And I break it down into my daily income goal. If you have not read my book, make sure you go to fumoney.com just to download the book. I can put a link somewhere below. It's for free. You can just download that. So, successful people, they think long-term, not short-term. Second way that they think differently is, I believe that successful people, they think accurately. One of the most powerful principles in Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Nobody talks about it, but it's accurate thinking. Accurate thinking. It means that they look at things as the way it is, not worse than it is, not better than it is, as it is. Unsuccessful people, very often they are overly optimistic, or they have an illusion, or they, it's going to work out. Yeah, man, I have no business acumen. I'm going to start this business, and within 21 days, I'm going to be racking in $20,000 a month. Although I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. That's being a fucking idiot. That's what it is. That's overly optimistic. What I notice is successful people, they think accurately. I think most of them, I describe them as what I call a realistic optimist. They have an optimistic view of what they're going to do. They believe in what they do. They believe in the product and services they deliver, but they're also realistic. They look at, you know what, this is where I'm in. This is where I want to go. What are some of the obstacles in between, right? The three questions I always like to ask myself, it's in my office, in my home office, in front of me, I constantly something I ask myself is not, everything is going to work out perfectly. Everything is going to work exactly the way I planned. Hell fucking no. Three questions I ask myself all the time. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? What don't I know? And what don't I see? So what could go wrong? What don't I know? What don't I see? Those three powerful questions, something I want you to think about. It's not about being negative. Oh, Danny just being negative. It's not about being negative. It's about being realistic, being a realistic optimist, knowing your downside. Because I know if I can think of all the downside, all the stuff that could go wrong, and if I have a plan for it, and I know if those things come up, here's how I'm going to handle it, then I'm okay. Then my chance of success of that particular project, it's a lot higher. Does that make sense? You with me? So that's the second thing. Successful people, they think accurately. And number three, successful people, they think people. They think people. I notice unsuccessful people very often, they're very, very selfish. They only think about themselves. What am I going to get? Right? It's always a very kind of win-lose mentality, especially people are desperate for money. And that's why successful people, we like to do business with successful people. Because we know that the success of that deal, yes or no, is not going to affect our lifestyle. So we don't have that needy energy. You know what I'm talking about? When you deal with people who are needy, they have that desperate, needy energy. And you know what? Needy is fucking creepy. And that's why successful people like to deal with successful people. They know your mentality. They know you have more of abundance mindset. And chances are, you might not necessarily guarantee, but you might not, fuck them over a little bit of money, right? Because no fucking bank ever been robbed by someone pulling up in a limousine. Never. It just doesn't happen, okay? Over the years, all the deals I've done, people who fuck me over and stab me in the back, guess what? It's people who are desperate for money, people who are unsuccessful. 9 out of 10 when I do business with other successful people, handshake, it's a simple deal. So, successful people, they think about people. They think about their customers. They think about their employees. They think about their vendors. They think about how can I deliver more value to the marketplace. That's the reason why they're successful in the first fucking place. You think about it. They think about how can I communicate in a way that the marketplace will understand what I'm saying. They don't think about, here's what I want to do, here's what I want to sell, I'm going to shovel this down their throat. Fuck that shit, it doesn't work. They take themselves out of the picture and say, they think about people. How can I deliver value to the marketplace? How can I retain more of my clients? How can I wow my clients? How can I make sure that my employees perform at a high level? How can I coach them? They think about other people. When you think about other people, guess what? It's easy because now they support you. They want you to be successful. They want to support you on your journey. I think that's very, very critical. People a lot of time they talk about self-made, I'm a self-made man, I'm a self-made woman, I'm self-made. a millionaire, I don't believe there's such a thing as a self-made millionaire. Every single millionaire that I know, they're all team-made millionaire. They're all team-made. Without their team, they're nothing. Without my team, I'm nothing. I can do what I do because I have a strong team. It's about leadership. So those are the three ways I think successful people think differently from unsuccessful people. How to become a millionaire? Well, welcome to another episode of Boss in the Bentley. This is Dan Locke. Today, I'm going to share with you how do you become a millionaire. This is an interesting question. When someone asks us, how do you become a millionaire? It's like asking Michael Jordan, well, how do you become Michael Jordan? It has so many factors. Obviously, people hear about like hard work, timing, many things that contribute to the success of someone becoming a millionaire. First of all, I want to tell you the truth. Chances are you're not going to be a millionaire. That's just the truth. Because statistics is against you. Statistics shows less than 6% of the population makes over $100,000 a year. Less than 1% of the population makes over $325,000 a year. So to hit the millionaire status, now it depends on how you define it. Some people, is it a million in net worth? Well, if in Vancouver, let's say in even major cities, New York or Los Angeles, you own a house, net worth-wise, you're a millionaire, right? So to me, how to define that? Is it a millionaire in terms of cash in the bank? It's a millionaire in income. It's $1 million in revenue. We'll come back to that. But for now, I want you to know that chances are you're not going to become a millionaire. Because chances are your parents, unless you come from a rich family, are not millionaires. Your relatives are not millionaires. Your friends are not millionaires. So chances of you becoming a millionaire is slim to none. Let's just start with that. Okay? I don't want to give you some false motivation. Oh, yeah, you're going to be a millionaire. No, fuck, you're not going to be a millionaire. Okay? Let's start with that. So chance of that, you becoming one is slim to none. But if you are willing to do what it takes, you're willing to get yourself out of that toxic environment, meet some new friends, program your mindset, develop new skills, start the business, deliver value to the marketplace, then you might have a chance. Not high chance, but you have a chance that you might get it. But knowing it's like not everyone can be a Olympian. It's only a small percent of the population, no different than this. But somehow in business, people have this false motivation. Oh yes, fuck, you can do it. Yes, for sure, set that goal. No, chances are you're not going to make it. I'm just telling you point blank. It takes so much tenacity. It takes so much persistence. Again, no different if you want to win the Olympic. How many hours they practice? How many years that they practice to get there? In financial world, in the business world, it's no different. People work many years to get to that millionaire status. So let's define millionaire. So how do you define? Is it a million in cash? Is it a million in net worth? Is it a million in revenue? Is it a million in income? I have a different definition from everybody else. The way I define a millionaire is someone who makes $1 million a year joyfully. Someone who makes $1 million a year joyfully. Now notice I didn't say passively. I say joyfully. That they enjoy what they do. That they like what they do, they're good at what they do, they deliver value to the marketplace with what they do. So that's my definition, not the only definition, I'm just sharing with you my definition. Someone who makes $1 million joyfully. So let's say that's your goal. You want to make $1 million a year joyfully. Because no point trying to make money. You have people even in Wall Street or in certain financial sectors, they do stuff, they make money, but are they happy? And I have friends who are very successful financially, but you talk to them, they're not happy. They're miserable. They're not happy. They don't like what they do. Family's falling apart. Wife is getting divorced. Like all the whole thing, it's a mess, right? Kids don't like them. That to me, it's not the definition of success. So that's my definition. So in order to do that, I think you need three things. First thing you need the millionaire mindset. The millionaire mindset. Now, if you want to watch my millionaire mindset playlist, click on the I button, check that out. I spend hours explaining what's the millionaire mindset, how millionaires, we think differently from the poor and the middle class, the abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset, how we think about event versus process. All these things, watch that because I don't want to repeat that here. You can watch those videos. But first, you got to think like a millionaire first. How we think, because we look at things very, very differently. We look at things, we look at problems very differently. We look at people differently. We look at opportunities differently. Just the way we see the world. So how we think, how to have the abundance mindset, the millionaire mindset. The second thing that you need, once you have the mindset, and I'm not just saying thinking positively, that's not good enough. It's a very different level of thinking. Once you have the millionaire mindset, then you have to have, second thing that you need to have is a millionaire skill set. A millionaire skill set. So the millionaire skill sets, it could include your leadership skills, your communication skills, your marketing skills, your management skills, many, many different types of skills that you need in order to deliver your product or service to the marketplace. What brings your idea, turn your idea into reality, put together a group of people that can bring you out there to the marketplace. So that's a millionaire skill set. Problem is, most people, they have no millionaire skill set. They have no millionaire, actually, they have a poor person's mindset, and they want to have a millionaire outcome. You cannot become a millionaire with a $50,000 a year habit. You cannot be a millionaire when you go home and watch Netflix for 3 hours. You just can't, right? You cannot be a millionaire and be lazy. You cannot be a millionaire and have this negative attitude. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So millionaire mindset, millionaire skill set. Once you have those things, you have developed the skill sets to create value in the marketplace. The third thing you need is you need a millionaire vehicle. A millionaire vehicle. So what I'm talking about is a business, but not just any type of business, probably some kind of a scalable business that you can put your skill set to work. Some kind of a vehicle that you can, some kind of platform that you can exercise your creativity, your innovation, your ideas, your talents, where now that's what's going to get you to the $1 million. So millionaire mindset, millionaire skill set, millionaire vehicle. Those are the three things you need. If you have all those three things, and you take massive action, and you don't give up, and you don't fucking give up, and you keep going and going, there's a chance that you might hit that millionaire status. But knowing, I'll say it again, the world is against you. The odds is against you. The odds is not good. Like, even though if you work very hard, you practice, you train, you go on diet, chances of you becoming Olympian, it's slim to none. Because there are a lot of people that are doing it all over the world. They put in the same amount of hours, they put in the same amount of effort, maybe more than you. They're competing with you, trying to compete on that. So just because you put in hours, does that mean you'll definitely get there? Not necessary. But I know you definitely won't get there if you don't put in the hours. That's for sure. So that's how you become a millionaire. It's not a magic formula. It's not you don't need some magic pill. That's what it takes. Three things. And have the mentality of, hey, you know what? That's what it takes. How to find a mentor. Now you might be wondering why you're in the car with me. I'll address that at the end of this video. For now, that's one of the most common questions I get from people. Dan, how do you find a mentor? Well, let me take you back to the beginning, because when I was getting started, I was trying all kinds of ideas and all kinds of businesses, and I had all these crazy thoughts and ideas and wanted to do different things and wanted to be successful. And I started and failed at 13 businesses before having my first success. Now, during that period of time, like most people, I was reading the books. I read Think and Grow Rich from front to back like 10 times. I read How to Win Friends and Influence People. I read so many of these personal development books and success books, and I was attending events and going to seminars. And all those things, they helped to a certain degree, but I would say that I'm where I'm today because of my mentors. Now, over the years, I've had, I would say, 2 mentors who I consider two people that are my mentors in my whole life. Now, although I've learned from different people, of course, throughout my career, but there are only 2 mentors that I have. Now, the first mentor that I have, his name is Alan Jacks. And I met Alan when I was in my early 20s. It's kind of interesting. At the time, Alan, before he retired, he used to run one of the most successful financial education company in Canada. And at the time, they were doing a lot of direct mail. And I would be, because I was attending all these workshops, I would get these direct mail pieces. Now, most people would think of those as junk mail, but I didn't. And I would collect them because I was fascinated by how the marketing is done and how he does certain things. And I would collect these letters, and I would 3-hole punch them and put in a 3-wing binders. I still have them today. And it would always come from this person called Alan Jacks. And Alan, at the time, he was the founder of the Real Estate Investment Network, and today it's a huge company. He sold that many years ago. Anyway, but he was the very first guy who pioneered the concept of like continuity and a membership program. He was the first guy who pioneered kind of the free seminar model in Canada, where you would get people to attend a free seminar, and then they would then offer them different high-end programs, high-ticket programs. Anyway, so one day I was attending one of these workshops, because I didn't have a lot of money. I would attend all these free workshops. And sitting next to me, I looked at the name tag. I said, no, it couldn't be. And I thought about it. I looked at it again. It said Alan Jacks. I said, there's no way. So I couldn't help, and I asked, I said, are you Alan Jacks? And he said, yes, I am. I said, are you the one that's sending the letters and like the invite people to attend workshops and things like that? I said, I am. I'm the one who wrote all those pieces. I said, no way. Like, I said, you're my hero. And then he was first a little bit like taken by that. Okay, you attend my workshops. I said, no, not the workshop, the marketing. I love the way you do marketing. I said, I collect all your letters. I put in the 3-wing binders and I study them. And he was a little bit surprised, because I don't think he's ever heard of anyone like acknowledge and gave him compliment on his marketing. Although he is a marketing genius. And it's like a 20-year-old kid. And I said, Alan, oh man, I love what you do. I admire you so much. I said, can I buy you lunch? And he looked at me and said, okay. I still remember what he said. He said, nah, what the hell? I gotta eat. And that's how we started the relationship. I bought him lunch, and we had lunch, and then later on, I actually volunteered to work for his company for next to nothing for a year. And I would go into the office, I would help him organize the paperwork, because we were doing so much direct mail at the time. I would lick the stamps, right? I would lick the envelope. It's funny because I was licking a lot of envelope, and I didn't know because it tastes horrible. After he saw me do a whole bunch of envelopes, like a few hundred letters, he said, you do know, Dan, you can use water, right? I said, thank you. And I didn't know, because I thought, God, this is like I'm poisoning myself here. And the stamps, and I would take those to the mailbox, to mail post office. And that's how we started a relationship, and that's my first mentor. And the lesson for that is, instead of asking yourself, how do you find a mentor? I believe your mentor actually finds you. That most people, they think of, where it doesn't matter where you're starting, that you think, well, I want to be successful, I want to make more money, I want to have whatever goals that you have. Instead of approaching your potential mentors as oh, you are successful, you should help me, poor little me. Don't approach it like that. Approach as how you can add value to their lives. Always give first before you ask anything in return. And that's what I did. I seeked our mentor. I helped him. I worked for him for next to nothing for a year. I just want to add value to what he does. Because understand this, your mentor doesn't need you. He or she is already successful. They are where you want to be in your dreams. So think about why would they even want to spend and invest their time and effort with you. You got to think about that. Don't come from the angle of being selfish or just because someone is successful, they're obligated to help me. That's a very poor person's mentality. Add value to what they do first. And don't even go to them with an agenda. Because think about, I can tell you, when you're successful, people come to me for two things. Either they come to me for money or they come to me for a job. You don't want to go to your mentors with either of these two things, because then they'll categorize you as, oh, this guy just wants something from me, or that he just wants money from me, or whatever the agenda. But versus with Alan, I just say, I just want to learn, and at the time I said anything I can do to help, and he gave me more and more and more responsibility, and he trusts me more and more and more over the years. And then later on, he would just say, you know what, you're doing all these admin work, why don't you help me do some of this marketing stuff? And it started showing me how do you write copy, how do you communicate, how do you use words to influence people. And that's the year that changed my life. And that's my first mentor. Now my second mentor, and some of you may know if you follow my work on YouTube channel, his name is Dan Pena. And I met Dan kind of through his work. I bought his book on eBay, and through that period of time, and now both have been my mentors over a decade now. And Dan, of course, taught me different things. Maybe I'll make a future video on about my story with Dan. I call him Big Dan, Mr. Pena. And so what I'm saying is this. When you seek your mentor, you want to find someone who you respect. You want to find someone who you resonate with. Just because someone is successful financially doesn't necessarily make them a good mentor. Because sometimes they are successful in a certain way, but you have to ask yourself, are they the ideal role models for you, right? Do you share the same value? Do you connect with them, right? With Alan, we connect on so many different levels. Are you comfortable kind of hanging out with your mentor? I think that's very, very critical. That there has to be some form of connection, not just business, but the social sense, right? I think that's very important. And you don't want to go to them where you are very, of course, you want to spend time, you want to get as much time with them as possible, but at the same time, respect their time, respect the space, because they're also very, very busy, chances are, if they're successful. I think those would be the main tips. Now, I do know that sometimes what holds people back is that doesn't matter where you're at, and you see someone who's very successful, that you're afraid to approach them. I can tell you over the years, putting mentors aside, whenever I see someone successful and when I seek help, when I ask them for lunch, when I ask them for dinner, when I just reach out, very sincere, not with no agenda, not trying to get money from them or anything like that. I just want knowledge. 9 out of 10, I can tell you that people who are successful, they're very generous. I've been turned down maybe a handful of times. Out of the hundreds and hundreds of times I ask people, I've turned down maybe a couple of times. And it shows you that people who are successful, if you approach them with sincerity, they would say, and at the time I was nobody. I was just a kid. And they would say, sure, I'll give you the time. And they would spend the time and you ask good questions, and I would take notes, obviously, and I learned through that period of time. So those are good. So don't be afraid to ask. That's what I'm saying. Don't be afraid to ask. When you find that mentor, when you find that person, when you find the mentor that you know this is who I want to learn from, you go all in. You just go all in. Don't be jumping from oh, I learn a little bit from this guy, I learn a little bit from that guy, I learn a little bit from that guy. You'll never get good. Because it's the same metaphor that I use in martial art, right? Let's say if you want to learn karate or you want to learn taekwondo or you learn boxing, just imagine. This week you go to a boxing class, next week you'll go to a taekwondo class, the week after you go to a karate class. You will not get good at any one of them. It's impossible. But when you find something, say, you know what, I want to learn Kung Fu, okay, I learned from one instructor, and usually you look at martial art, they stay with the instructor for years, sometimes decades, to learn and master that art. And the same in business. People somehow in business, they think they can watch a fucking YouTube video. Oh, I watched one video, I understand this guy, what he's about. It's ridiculous if you think about it. But that's how people think nowadays. And or they watch one video, they assume a certain things about you. And people, the same thing with, they watch my videos, they assume a certain things about me, but the truth, they don't know shit about me. Unless you met me in person, unless I have worked with you, unless we've done business together, they don't know. They don't know. But that's human being. They like to pitch and hold, they like to come up with their own judgment conclusions. Anyway, so that's how we find a mentor.
But Dan, how do I have more confidence?
Well, the first thing you gotta fucking change is your fucking voice. Like, I have more confidence. Well, fuck. That voice will never have confidence, right? Confidence, I believe, is something that you need to develop. When I was young, I had no confidence. When I first came to Canada, I was the invisible kid. I was the kid that would sit in the very back of the classroom. I would never put up my hand, never ask any questions because I couldn't speak a word of English. I didn't know how to connect with people. I didn't know how to talk to people. So I had no confidence. I would finish, I remember clearly, I had no friends. I would finish class, and I would, with my little backpack, I would look on the floor. I wouldn't make eye contact with anybody because I was afraid to connect with people. And I wouldn't talk to anybody. I would just go home, and every single day was like that. And I want to make sure I walk on the side along the locker versus walk in the center because I don't want to bump into anybody. I was so afraid that people would even want to ask me a question. I was so afraid of people. So I had no confidence. And you just fast forward today what I do and how I do these things, and with millions of followers on social media and my businesses and my accomplishments and whatever the hell that those things are. Confidence is developed. I know for a fact I'm a fucking walking, breathing example of you can develop confidence. But sometimes people confuse confidence with arrogance. They think, oh, does that mean that's that prick, that arrogance, that attitude, that's confidence. That's not confidence. Like all this, you see that in martial art a lot, right? The puffer, macho, like look at how fucking tough I am. That's not confidence. That's fucking insecurity. It's only insecure people would like need to puff up and say how fucking good I am. You're fucking good. I don't need to puff up to know that I can fucking kill you. You don't need to do that, right? You don't need to do that. In martial, if you're a good fighter, you don't need to do that. You need to show, let me show you how tough I am. It's not like that, because that's not the enemy. The enemy is yourself within. So, off track, come back. Confidence. Confidence comes from confidence. How could you get confidence if you suck at everything? You're not good at anything. You don't have no skills. You don't have no direction. Of course you have no confidence. Very simple. And the problem is, in your life, the people around you, the role models that you have, not role models, just the people around you in general. Think about the people around you. Parents, relatives, friends. How many of them have confidence? Not the bully types, not those bullshit. How many of them truly have inner self-confidence? Count them. Not many. And those are the people around you. So you learn from those people, of course you have no fucking confidence. But when you develop their skills, when you develop their competence, when you're good at what you do, you feel good about what you do. You do more of what you do. And people tell you that you're fucking good. Of course, guess what? Then you get more and more confidence. When I was learning how to do public speaking, when I went to my very first Toastmasters meeting, I had no confidence. I was so afraid. My face was pale. I was shaking. I was reading from the fucking script. And I couldn't deliver a speech. I was stutter, and I couldn't do it. But I kept at it, and I kept at it, and I kept at it. And it got a little bit better, and it got a little bit better, and it got a little bit better. Until one day, someone from the audience told me afterwards, oh, Dan, you're pretty good at this. Oh, I'm pretty good at this? Yeah, you're pretty good at this. I think you're a good speaker. Wow, thank you so much. I'm honored. Wow. And once I hear more of that kind of validation, more and more validation, it builds my confidence bit by bit. Think of confidence like as a brick. One brick at a time. Not overnight, but one brick at a time. You build that. You build that. And I made mistake, I fucked up, I lost money in business, all this shit, I build it back up, I recover, gave me more confidence. You know what, I could do this once, I could do it a second time, I could do it a third time. I know for a fact that I didn't accomplish my success by default. I created my success by design. That gives me confidence. Knock on wood, I could lose everything tomorrow. I know that I could make everything back and more. Not because of the money, because of who I am. That's confidence. Draw me any in the world that speaks English, that has a capitalist system. US, UK, America, Hong Kong, China, you fucking whatever, you name it, I could make it. And plus more. That's confidence. That comes from, that's true confidence. That's why it's not this illusion of, oh yeah, all this, maybe, yeah, how do I get that? You get fucking good at what you do, you have confidence. How could you not have confidence when you're so good at what you do? That's a problem with young people. You're not good at anything. Oh, I'm so fucking good. No, tell me the fucking truth. You're not good at anything. You have no substance. You have no foundation. Right? Besides jacking off in front of the computer, what else do you do? Nothing. That's the fucking problem. Once you have that, once you can do that, confidence comes. And no one can take that away from you. No one can take that away from you. That you own. When you can approach anything, a business deal, any venture, any business with that unshakable confidence, nothing stops you. Nothing stops you. And that's what you need to get to. So how do you develop confidence? I cannot give you confidence. Watching videos is not going to give you confidence. Fucking do shit. Make shit happen. That internal confidence you give yourself, no one can take that away. How to make six figures in your 20s. Welcome to another episode of Boss in the Bentley. Now, this is what I do on the way to work, on the way to a meeting. I turn on the camera and answer your question. Just because I'm getting so many questions from you, from all over the world, and I thought, you know what, this is a good way for me to answer your question and also be time efficient as well. So, how to make six figures in your 20s. A lot of young people, they ask me when they're getting started, Dan, how do I become successful? How do I become successful like you in my early 20s, or even I'm 18 years old, 19 years old? How do I get started? Today I'm going to give you an answer that may be a little bit surprising. Now, I could only speak from my own experience, nothing more. So when I was getting started, I started my first business when I was in high school, very young age. And I tried a lot of different businesses and had a lot of different failures. In fact, I started and failed at 13 businesses before having my first success. I was trying to fix computers for people. I was trying the vending machine business. I was trying the software business. I was trying the lawn mowing business. I tried network marketing, many different businesses, and they all fucking failed, right? So in my early 20s, when I was 21, 20 years old, I found my first mentor. His name is Alan. And Alan took me under his wings. And I worked for him for next to nothing for 1 year, basically as a volunteer in his office. And he taught me a lot of things about business and marketing and copywriting. In case you don't know what copywriting is, he taught me how to write ads. How do you create marketing like letters and sales letters? How do you communicate with people? How do you put words on a piece of paper that would persuade, influence people to make a purchase? So he gave me that skill set. I consider that as a high income skill. If you watch my other videos, you know that I am a very big proponent of the high income skill. So that's my very first high income skill. After that, I opened up my own one-man advertising agency. as a kind of like, if you watch the TV show Mad Men, that's kind of what that is. A one-man advertising agency. I was doing consulting and cooperating for people. And I was making about $10,000 a month in my early 20s as a copywriter. So that's my very first high-income skill. And that's how I started making six figures in my 20s at a young age. So what do you need to do? In order to make that money, I can tell you that if you focus on making the money, you won't get there. Okay, you got to think of what is my talent, what is my skill, what is something that I could offer to the marketplace that I could charge good money for. If you're working at a job making 10, 20, 15, 20 bucks an hour, it's very difficult to get that six-figure income. But as young people, it could be, if you're in your early 20s, some kind of skill. Now, it could be sales, it could be marketing, it could be whatever it is, a talent, maybe a passion that you have that you can offer to businesses. Because it's easy to charge more money when you're working with businesses. Not always 100%, but let's say you're working with companies and businesses, and you can bring that skill. It could be video production skill, it could be editing skill, it could be animation skill. Doesn't matter. But you're working with a business, with a company, where you could charge high ticket price. That's what I teach. Where in my early 20s, when I was working with clients, at first I was charging $500, $1,000, $2,000 per client. Later on, as I get better, I was able to charge $5,000, $7,000, $10,000 per client. So although I was making $10,000 a month, I wasn't working with 5, 10 clients. I was working with maybe 1 to 2 clients per month. And each client was paying me $8,000, $10,000 per project. If you think about that, then I don't need a lot of clients to make good money. Does that make sense? I don't need a lot of new clients all the time. So I was able to do that. So transaction size matters. The type of skill that you offer matters. Example, I've seen young people where digital marketing, they're providing Instagram skill, where they help people manage the Instagram, Facebook, or Facebook ads, or Google, or funnel building, or closing on the phone. That's what I teach. All these skills, any one of them, that you can add value to the business, especially in the sales and marketing arena, because you're being a profit center for the company, right? Where you're making them money, it's easy for you to charge good amount of money for it, especially if the service is recurring. Because right now, let's say I'm paying a young guy, young gentleman managing my Instagram. By the way, if you're not following my Instagram, shame on you, okay? At Dan Locke, go there right now. And you can see he's helping me manage, and I pay him a monthly fee to manage the Instagram and help me with the Instagram post. So if, let's say you are helping people with their social media, you're charging them, let's say $1,000 a month. Okay, $1,000 a month. With only 10 clients, you will make $10,000 a month. Each paying you $1,000 a month, recurring, so next month you don't have to get on new clients all the time. You're making $10,000 a month solid every month. As a social media person, as an Instagram person, as a Facebook person, as a closer, as any of those skills, right? Any of those skills, you can make that $10,000 a month. That's how you do it. Second thing that you could do is what I call becoming the right-hand person, kind of entrepreneurship, or I call that the chicken entrepreneur. Chicken entrepreneur. So it's like you're not quite ready to go out there and start your own business, but you can choose a business that's like high growth, fast growth, and you get yourself involved and you add value by adding your skill to the business, right? So let's say a company that's growing very, very well, growing very fast, you become the right-hand person for the CEO. You become the go-to person for the business owner. You participate and you say, you know what? Yes, I would take a lesser salary, but if I can help the company go from A to Z, can I get some revenue share? Can I get some profit share, right? You are, instead of starting from scratch, you pick a good business, a good vehicle that's going well, that's got a little team, you connect with the CEO, you become the right-hand person. That's also a very, very powerful way to make six-figure income. It's a much faster way. Right? Within my team, I have multiple people, young guys in their 20s, some like before, like 19 years old, making six-figure income because they work with me, they work within my organization, and they partner up with me, in other words, right? They join my team. And because with my brand and everything, they're able to add value with this skill and to participate in the growth, and they could make their six figures. So pick someone that you respect, pick someone that you like, pick someone that you resonate with, that you know is also in the high growth phase, and you can become the right-hand person. You become the go-to person, no excuse, and you show up, you do the work. And if you pick the right person, you could also make six figures very, very quickly, because you're not building something from scratch. You're not building something from scratch. Now, also, although you might be, a lot of people ask me, well, Dan, how can I work with you? How can I join your team? One thing that you could do, because I'm very, very selective of who I work with, but I'm very open, I'm very welcoming to anyone who's got talent, who's got skill, who has got a good attitude. You can apply. You can go to www.teamdanlock.com, teamdanlock.com to apply. But again, I'm very selective. You can see the different positions that I have opened there. And so that's one way to do it, where you pick someone and you can help them. When you deliver value, then you can make the six figures. I believe those are the two ways. Develop your high income skill, offer it to the marketplace, or partner up with someone, become the go-to person, become the right-hand person for them in your early 20s to make six figures. There you go. That's the answer. I've been getting a lot of questions on public speaking and how to become a better speaker. And maybe you're a little bit nervous, and maybe you have an upcoming meeting or conference or seminar or something, or a presentation where you need to present in front of a group of people. So how do you not get nervous speaking in front of a large group of audience? Now, back then, when I just first learned about public speaking and I joined Toastmasters, I was nervous as fuck, okay? Even speaking to a group of like 10 people, I would have sweaty palms, and my heart would be like I was so nervous. And I don't know why. Well, chances are because I still had a lot of these memories of when I first came to Canada, when I couldn't speak a word of English and getting laughed at, right? Getting criticized, and that just destroyed my confidence. And now speaking in front of people. Have you ever felt this way, where you are speaking in front of people, you just feel very naked, right? You feel like very uncomfortable. You're so afraid of being judged. So how do you overcome that? I want to give you 3 very powerful strategies today in my Bentley on exactly how do you do that. Number 1, chances are, if you are nervous speaking to a group of people, it's because of lack of practice, lack of preparation. So let's say if you know you're gonna do a presentation or speech for 15 minutes, and if all you in front of people and all you put into it is 1 hour of practice, you're gonna get nervous because you don't know if you're fully ready, or if you need to just, like, say at a wedding or something, or sometimes just stand up somewhere where you need to do something on the spot, where it's totally unprepared. Of course you get nervous because you're like, what am I gonna say? How am I gonna say it? I'm not so sure. It's all of lack of preparation. So if you have the opportunity, if you know that you're gonna be presenting a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 weeks from now, if you over prepare, so that 15 minutes of speech, if you spend 5 hours, 10 hours preparing, practicing in front of the mirror, record yourself, watch yourself, it's way better if you just spend an hour. So when you over prepare, you'll know, okay, I know exactly what I'm gonna say, I know exactly how I'm gonna say it, I've rehearsed many times. Guess what? Then you get less nervous. So that nervousness comes from lack of preparation. So tip number 1 is over prepare. You believe, if you think you need an hour preparation, just times that by 3, times that by 4. Over prepare, so when you're on stage, boom, you're ready to go. Because I believe stage time is wealth time. Stage time is wealth time. You need to cherish that opportunity being on stage. I cannot tell you how many doors opened for me, how many powerful relationships that I've been able to develop because I cherish those opportunities. And I was on stage. And someone somewhere saw me on stage, and they later on came up to me and talked to me. And that opens up so many doors. So stage time is wealth time. I don't care if it's 1 minute on stage, 10 minutes on stage, 10 hours on stage, you got to give your 100%. Number 2, I used to get nervous when I walk up to the stage when all I could focus on is me. I was so concerned about what people think. What do I sound professional? Would they understand my accent? Oh man, make sure I cover every point I want to cover. Am I telling that story perfectly? And do I sound smart? Do I look good? Whenever you are in front of an audience and you focus on yourself, me, how people perceive you, you will get nervous because you are afraid of being judged. When I shift the focus from do I sound smart? Do I look good? Do I sound good? When I just forget all that shit and throw that out the window and I 100% focus on my audience. How could I change their life? How can I impact them? How can I make sure they walk away with value? The minute I do that, not focusing on myself, but focusing on them, the nervousness disappears. It's gone. Very, very simple. Because it's all about them. It's my hand in my pocket. Am I not standing in the right space? Am I walking back and forth? Am I doing the right gesture? Forget all that shit. When you forget all that shit, you can connect. And when you connect with the audience, you're not nervous. Because all you care is about them. You don't care about how you look anymore. You don't care if you sound so smart. No, you just focus on them. No more nervousness. Very powerful. Third thing, it's everything is energy. So when I'm speaking, since I'm making it about them, how do I create energy? I always want to create what I call a participation energy. Participation energy, meaning I want them to participate. So imagine if I'm on stage and I'm just talking and lecturing, right? And preaching about certain concepts. Well, it's easy to get nervous because you're always worried about if I'm saying the right thing. But if I have a participation energy going on, a learning energy, a fun energy going on, example, I would always ask them, hey, how many of you believe in this? How many agree with that? How many ever experienced this? I get them to put up their hand. I get them to yell back the answer. I get them to fill in the blank. I get them to discussion, talking among each other. When I create that kind of safe energy, celebration energy, learning energy, guess what? You get less nervous because you're not worried about, am I saying the right word every single time at the right space? You're like, I don't care. I was just doing my event, Closest and Black, for my inner circle students. 1,000 students from all over the world. It was day 3. And I was following my agenda, right? These are the PowerPoint. This is what I'm going to teach. Halfway into the PowerPoint, there was a particular student of mine, and he needs some help. So I have 2 choices. I could either say, you know what, let me follow my agenda. Let me just kind of keep that going and finish my PowerPoint, my agenda. Or what did I do? I said, you know what, guys, I just stopped. I said, I have this agenda. I could go to a PowerPoint, but that's not what we need at the moment. So I throw away my agenda. I said to my student, Dave, I said, come up. I helped him right there on the stage in front of 1,000 people to create a breakthrough experience for him. Now, not many speakers to do that because they're so afraid I need to stick to every minute of my agenda versus, you know what, that's not what we need. That's not what the group needs at the moment. I throw that out. This is what you need, being present, being connected with the audience. And I say, that's what we're going to do. Now, not many people can do that. It's actually very nerve-wracking to think about it because as a speaker, now you're jumping off the plane without a parachute, right? You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know it's going to work. I believe it's going to work, right? I believe in what we can do as an audience. That's a higher level. Then to me, you're no longer just a speaker, you're more a facilitator. And a facilitator, you want to create certain outcome. You want to create certain emotions. You want to help them achieve a certain goal. Your audience achieve a certain goal. When you focus on that, you don't get nervous. Because it's, even you don't do it perfectly, but it's all about them. When you make it all about them, you're not nervous. So knowing everything is energy. Have that celebration energy. Over prepare. Over prepare. Every single time. And then make it all about them, not make it about you. And try that out. And see if next time when you present in front of a group, do you get less nervous? Until next time, I'll see my family. To share with you how do you actually set goals and actually achieve them. When it comes to goal setting, I have probably read every damn book on the subject. I spent the last 15 years of my life studying achievement, personal development, especially goal setting. Any audio program you can think of, any books, any courses that I've probably taken those. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you what took me kind of 15 years to learn. I'm going to distill that, the key lessons, the 3 secrets about goal setting. I'm going to share that with you in 15 minutes. So 15 years of experience, distill that to 15 minutes. So you could still go read all those books, but this is what I found that works for me. So when it comes to goal setting, number 1, you have to be very specific and you cannot be big. So making money, that's a wish, that's a dream. A goal is I want to make $100,000 in income by the end of the year or in the next 12 months, right? That's a goal. It has to be very specific and very precise. So let's take money because it's the easiest. Let's say your goal is to make $100,000 in the next 12 months. What you want to do is the very first secret. What I always do is I would reverse engineer. So whatever goal that I have, I say that's my goal. I want to reverse engineer and break that down into what do I need to do, what do I need to focus on, what skills do I need to upgrade? Because usually, when you have a goal, that you need to learn and upgrade your skills or upgrade your mental capacity. Because chances are, whatever that you're capable of right now, your skill, your mentality gives you this kind of result. But if you want to get to the next step, the next level, chances are you're going to have to be better, to learn more, to become more. So once I reverse engineer, I'll break that down into 12 months. So on a monthly basis, what do I need to do? So let's say I want to make $100,000. You divide it by 12 months. Then you divide it by, okay, every week, what do I need to do? So I would break it down into monthly income. I would divide it up into weekly income. Then I would break down into your daily goal. Your DIG, what I call your DIG, dig. It's called daily income goal. I talk about it in my book, FU Money. By the way, if you have not read my book, FU Money, you can get it on Amazon for $20. Or you can just go to fumoney.com. You can download that book for free. It's a free book. I talk about the IG. So your daily income goal. So what happens is this. You don't need to wait till the end of the year. You know how people in January, they always have that New Year resolution, right? I want to lose weight. I want to be more successful. I want to do this. I want to write that book. I want to do whatever. And then they have this New Year resolution, and then by February, they're losing momentum. By March, they're like, oh my God, this is not happening. Then they wait till December, like Christmas time, year end, and say, oh my God, I'm a loser. I didn't accomplish my goal. I didn't set out what I was going to do. You don't need to do that. With this mentality, guess what? If you're not hitting your daily income goal, you're not hitting your weekly income goal. You're not hitting your weekly income goal, you're not hitting your monthly income goal. You're not hitting your monthly income goal, you are not hitting your goal. You don't need to wait 12 months to find out. So every single day, once you're that clear, okay, so then you just focus on what am I doing today? You reverse engineer. What am I doing today to hit that DIG, daily income goal? That's it. So do I need to reach out to somebody? Do I need to send out an email? Do I need to do that marketing initiative? Do I need to learn new skills? I need to read that book. Every single day you ask yourself, what am I doing today to move a little bit more closer to that goal? So you reverse engineer. I'll give you a perfect example. So when I haven't been practicing martial in a long time, I was getting back into it. When I joined the class, I sucked. I was rusty. My skill, my reflexes, my speed, it just wasn't like when I was younger. It wasn't like what used to be. So I joined the class, and of course I have my my training buddies and brothers and all that training, like my seafood, my instructor. I joined a class. I set a goal. I said in 12 months, I want to be the top student, the number one student in the class out of all the students. And at the time I was at the bottom of the class, right? So I set a goal, say in 12 months, I want to be like that. So, okay, that's my goal. I want to be very clear in terms of skill, speed, everything, my skill. So that's what I wanted to do. So I break it down. Okay, what does that look like on a monthly basis? What do I need to do? So on a monthly basis, okay, I will need to have master certain techniques and certain skills in terms of the art, right? Okay, so I break it down. Every month I need to master this, and I break it into on a weekly basis, and then a monthly basis, and a monthly basis, weekly basis, and a daily basis. So every day I need to practice 200 punches, right? I need to do certain exercise, and every week I should vary my routine to make sure I sharpen those skills. So I know if I do that, I cannot help but improve. You with me? Once I do that on a monthly basis, I know, okay, suddenly I feel like every month from the bottom, the worst of the class, now I slowly start to inch up, right? And now I can, people with 2, 3, 5 years more experience than me, when we touch hands, okay, now I can feel like we're equal, or I'm slightly better, I'm faster, I'm stronger, I'm more powerful. I do that. And to a point where I'm happy to say, last week my seafood say, you know what? You're pretty damn good. Your Kung Fu is getting pretty damn good. And my seafood never says it to anybody, right? So that's a big compliment. And he was talking about my senior in the class. Is like, you know what? He certain stuff is good, but certain stuff that you're way better. That's what coming from my seafood. That's what he said. So that's how I became top of my class. So that's the very first secret. You reverse engineer. You break it down into your daily goal, daily task. What do you have to do? And you focus on those. You do your daily tasks, you get those done every single day, you will get there, right? Secret number 2. You want to set goals in major areas of your life. So in my case, I recommend 4 different areas. The very first area is your health. Because without health, you have nothing. Doesn't matter how successful you are, doesn't matter how much money you have. Without health, you're done. So health goal. Second is what I call personal goal. So personal goal could be relational goal, could be spending time with friends, could be spending time with family, could be going on vacation or that hobby that you have, right? I happen to like martial art. Whatever it is that you enjoy, you want to play golf, that's perfectly fine. So personal goals, what is it that you want to accomplish? The third category is finance. And business also falls under finance. So what are the finance goals? How much money you want to make, how much money you want to save, if you're doing investments, what kind of return you want. That's your finance goals. And the fourth, which I think is extremely important, which in many first 10 years of my life I didn't have, is contribution. Contribution and growth goals. So contribution, who are you impacting, who are you helping? So in my case, if I reach a certain amount of subscribers, if I get help my students, my mentees, and to hit whatever income goals that they have, helping them get the new car, helping them achieve that level of success, I count as contribution goals, right? So those 4 areas that you need to have. Now, here's what happens. When you are building your business, when you're trying to create success, out of these 4 goals, so you have your health, you have your finance, you have your personal, and then you have your contribution. At first, if you try to do all these 4 goals with like 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%, I can almost guarantee you will fail. You will not get to any one of them because you're trying to do a whole balance thing. And human beings, our life is not balanced. You're trying to do all 4 equally. You notice people try to do, I want to have time with my kids, and so I want to take on vacation. I want to be able to like pursue some of my passions, and I want to make a lot of money, and then I want to have a 6-pack abs. And then I can tell you, it's almost impossible to do that. I'm not saying some people cannot do that, and just for majority of people, that's virtually impossible. I think human beings, we need to focus on one thing at a time. So what I do is, I ask the question, out of these 4 areas, what is the one goal that if you accomplish that goal in the next 12 months or in the next 18 months, If you focus on that one, you accomplish that one thing, you accomplish almost everything else. What is that one goal? If you accomplish that one thing, it'll help you accomplish everything else. Now, in my case, in my early 20s, my goal was very focused on money because I cannot have the pursue my personal passions. I cannot have contribution. I cannot support my mom. I cannot pay the bills. I cannot do any of that if I don't take care of my finance, if I don't make enough money. So out of these four, you have to know, depends on where you are in your career. If you're already successful, obviously you can want to focus more on other areas of your life, little bit more balance. But in the beginning, I would say you want to pick kind of one area where you put 80-20, right? 80% effort in that one area. Once you get that taken care of, then you can kind of spread out your effort a little bit. So those are the four areas I recommend that you would focus on. So assuming now you're very clear about your goal, you reverse engineer, you break down all your tasks, you got all of that, and then you set goals in the four major areas, and you know which area to focus on. Okay, the third secret is this. And I'm going to give you a 4-step formula. A very simple 4-step formula to achieve your goals auto-magically. Not automatically, auto-magically, as if they would come true, automatic, like magic, okay? And I know it sounds, oh, Dan, it sounds too good to be true. Try it. Very, very simple. I've used this again and again and again, and that's what makes me, when I said that, what's the secret of my achievement, that I write down goals and actually achieve them. So, 4 steps. First, you need to set it. You need to set the goals. It means not in your head, not in your fucking phone. Write it out with a pen or pencil. You actually write it out. Be very, very specific in the 4 areas. So set it, first step. Second step is you need to see it. So after you set it, don't just put it away. Don't just, I'll revisit, put it in a journal, and then you never see it the whole year. No, I put it in front of me in my office. I look at it every single day. When I wake up in the morning, that's the very first thing I look at. Because whatever your attention goes, energy flows, and results show. I'll say it again. Wherever your energy goes, your attention goes, energy flows, and results shows. So I would put it so, set it, and then you see it every fucking day. Sometimes multiple times a day. You look at it, you see it, you read out loud, you look at it. That's what you focus on, that's what you focus on, that's what you focus on, right? Then the step 3 is now you live it. You live it. What does that mean? It means you don't just see it intellectually, you need to experience it. Let's say, and I know a lot of my students, even from high-tech closer program, I teach them to, we call the concept, smell the leather. You have a dream car that you want, go test drive the car. Live it. See yourself driving that car. Touch it, what it feels like. You want to have a dream house? Go look at the open house. Walk into the kitchen. Walk and sit in the living room. Feel it. What is that? You live it. You live that life. You have to see yourself living that life before you ever have that life. This is deep. I'll say again. You have to see yourself live that life before you have that life. And you do that. And you live it vividly in your mind many, 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 many times. Many years ago, I had a dream. One of my dream cars at the time was driving a Mazda 3. And my dream car was the Mazda RX-8. RX-8 in red. And I set the goal. I see it. Not only I see it, I actually cut out the magazine, like with the car, what looks like I put it in my home office at the time. I see it every day. Then I also I live it. I live it. And I can see myself driving the car. I can hear myself turning on the engine and what this sounds like. I live it many, many times. And the fourth step is you share it. You share it. You share it with the people you know. Oh, but Dan, I don't want to share with other people. What if I don't accomplish their goals? Then I will look stupid. See? That's the problem. That's why you don't fucking accomplish your goals. You don't even believe you can accomplish your goals. You got to share it with people. Let the world hold you accountable. Me, I even take it as like a higher, the next step. I actually not just share with people. I share with the whole fucking world. I share with you. I post on YouTube. I tell people, I'm gonna hit 1 million subscribers. Watch my video. Many couple years ago, many videos, hundreds of videos before I said I'm gonna hit 100,000 subscribers. We're here, and I'm telling you right now, we're gonna hit 1 million subscribers. We're here, right? All these goals I share with the world, so I have the world hold me accountable. Say, hey Dan, you said you promised you're gonna do that. I'm gonna fucking do it, right? So I share it. Goes back to my master story. So I live it. I would go there. I would go test drive. I would go to different dealership, and I would try like test. Of course, you have to go to different dealership because you go to one, you test drive, and you can't go back to the same dealership and test drive 2-3 times because the salesman is like, what the fuck, is this guy coming? You're not buying anything. So I got to go to one, and I go to another one. I go to another one. Anyway, I test drove the car multiple times. I live it. I see it. I can taste it. I know what it feels like to drive that car. I can hear the rotary engine. I can sense when I turn the key. I can know the door. I know the car inside. I know exactly what I want. I know I want a sunroof. I know the features I want all the upgrades I want. I know exactly how much it costs. Reverse engineer. I know exactly how much I need to pay to get that car. And I share with all my friends. I remember back then, we'd be walking down the street, and I would see a Master RX-8 drove by in red. I would tell my friends, hey, that's my car. And they're like, what are you talking about? No, that's my car. No, that's not your car. You're driving this like Master 3. That's not your car. You don't understand. That's my car. That's sharing it, right? I said it, I see it, I live it, and I share it. And let me tell you, when I make enough money, I went to the dealership. And I walked into the dealership. And I told the salesman, I said, I want that car. In red, RX-8. Then salesman was like, would you like to test drive it? No. I said, I don't need to test drive it. Oh, let me show you all the features, Dan. Let me show you all the upgrades. No, I don't need to see that. I've seen it many times. I want to buy it. He said, well, you sure you don't want it? No. Just do the paperwork. I'm ready to go. He said, he told me in person, in private, he's never closed a sale that fast in his entire freaking life. Entire freaking life. That was it. So I walked out, I got the key, and I turned on the engine. I drove the car off the parking lot. Now, you might think, isn't it awesome, Dan? At the time, it was your lifelong dream. Finally, you worked hard enough, and you got the car. How do you feel? Let me tell you. There was no excitement. There was no jumping up and down. Yeah, finally, I got my car. There was none of that. You know the only feeling that I felt when I drove the car off the parking lot? This is my car. I have driven this car hundreds of times in my mind. I've seen it hundreds of times. Now it's just like I'm taking this car home. I didn't feel anything. It's like deja vu. It's mine. What's so special about it? It's mine. That's what I'm talking about. That you set it, you see it, and you live it, and then you share it. That's how you actually set goals, and that's how you accomplish them. I'm gonna leave you with one thought. You want to live your life as if all your dreams have come true, and then you challenge your reality to catch up. Live your life as if all your dreams have come true, and then you challenge your reality to catch up. Ponder on that. How to start a business with no money? Well, you're not the first one to ask me that question. Somehow, I guess when people who are struggling financially, that they want to start a business and thinking that's a way out. And sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. I believe the worst time you want to start a business is when you have no money, because you're desperate. When you're desperate, when you start a business, it's not a good idea, because chances are there's a reason why you have no money in the first place. It tells me a number of things. It tells me maybe you don't have a lot of skills, maybe you don't have a lot of experience, maybe you don't have a lot of knowledge. maybe mentally, the mindset-wise, you're not ready. Maybe you have negative association with money. It tells me a lot about who you are. So don't start a business just because you want to make money. Nothing wrong with making money. I like making money. But if you're actually struggling that much financially, I tell people, and this is so counterintuitive to most gurus or experts or whoever is promoting entrepreneurship. And I'm an advocate for entrepreneurship. Get a fucking job. Get a job. Pay the bills. Get some money coming in. I don't care if it's part-time, full-time, whatever. Get some money coming in first, right? And in the evening, when you're off work, after 5 o'clock, that's when your business starts. You know, start what people nowadays call the young people call the side hustle, right? That's fine. Do some stuff, because now with computer, there's so many things that you can do, right? With technology, that's okay. But don't start a business with absolutely no money, thinking that you'll make it. Oh, great, that I'll make it. You can't even find a fucking job. What makes you think you'll be successful as a business person? I mean, it's kind of, think about it, it's kind of stupid. But if you are decent at what you do and you're adding value to the marketplace, now you're honing your skills, fine, then you can. If you follow my work, make sure you watch my video on wealth triangle. Click on the link below, or you can also click on the playlist or search on YouTube, the wealth triangle. I explain why first you need to develop your first high income skill before you start a business. I went into the idea and the philosophy that I have. So once you have some money coming in, you're paying the bills, now you can consider, okay, what is it that you want to do, what business you want to start. But here's the thing. I don't think everybody should start a business, and I don't think everybody should be an entrepreneur. I don't think it's for everybody. I think it's because now the media, they promote so much, or even on YouTube, on social media, or entrepreneurship, be your own boss and start your own business and live that life. Well, if you actually talk to people who have started businesses, first of all, most of them failed. Statistics show it could 90%, it could be 95% of small businesses fail in the first 5 years. Whatever the number is, it doesn't matter. It's just the number is fucking high. So knowing that when you do something, it's like you take this risk, knowing that chances are 9 out of 10 you're going to lose. Period. 9 out of 10. Even if you do make it, chances are you may be just like getting by and struggling and not really prosper. But here's the problem. The one that made it, sometimes you see on the cover of the magazine, oh, this guy made X amount of dollars, this guy made it big. Yeah. But you don't see the 10,000 that died, because those guys don't make it on the cover of the magazine. You don't see, hey, he's an entrepreneur that lost his life savings and mortgaged his house and lost like $200,000. Let's put him on the cover. You never hear those stories. But if you actually talk to entrepreneurs, yeah, there are a lot of those stories. I mean, I started many businesses, and I failed at many businesses, and I had so many failures and made so many mistakes. So it's not for everybody. It truly is not for everybody. And you don't necessarily have to be an entrepreneur to make a lot of money. That's something I've learned over the years. You can have a high income skills that makes you very good money, decent amount of money, and if you can invest that properly, you can also have a very comfortable life. An entrepreneur, it requires leadership, requires so many skill sets. It's just like not everybody can be an Olympic swimmer. Not everybody could be a marathon runner. Not everybody could be a world-class like basketball player. It's just not for everybody. But somehow, when it comes to business, everybody's so optimistic, overly optimistic. Oh yeah, I could do it. I could start a business. I would make money in 3 months. I would break even the first month. No, I actually think, and then within a year, I'll hit $1 million. That's how they all think. It's incredible, because nobody started a business with the idea, oh, I'm going to fail. I'm not going to make it. Oh, it's not going to break even in 3 months. No. But what if it doesn't make money in 3 months? And what if it doesn't make money in 6 months? And what if it doesn't make money in a year? What if it doesn't make money in 5 years? Then what do you do? What do you do? Now you put yourself, you put your family, you put the people who love you. Chances are, because you probably borrow money from them to start, for most of us. Then what do? You put them in such a bad financial position. So don't do that. I would say don't do that. You're going to start a business coming from a place of where you are stable, coming from a place where you do have money coming in, maybe some savings aside, coming from a place where you have some kind of skill sets, coming from a place where you do have support, coming from a place where you do have a mentor to guide you, coming from a place where if you're going into an industry that you have an edge. And coming from a place where you're not overly optimistic, but you look at what you do and say, hey, what could go wrong? What don't I know? What assumptions am I making? How do I know this would work? And what if it doesn't work? What if it takes much longer to work? What if it takes it 10 times more effort to work? Don't worry about winning. Worry about all the possible ways that you could lose and you could fail, and you prevent yourself and you prepare yourself for all of that. You can do that, then you'll win. Prepare all the shit that could go wrong. Prepare all the shit that doesn't go as expected. You have a solution, you have a plan for all those. Chances are you think it through, and this would work. Now, it's not a sexy answer. You're looking for an answer, I know. Oh yeah, go for it. Start it, be an entrepreneur, you'll be successful. That's all fucking BS. I say, you're thinking of starting a business, think twice. Make sure it is something that you really, really want. And make sure you start getting ready, getting the money ready, start mentally ready, all of that before you go into it. Because it's tough. Whatever you're thinking, if you have not started a business, you think it takes you this much effort, it's going to be this much difficulty, it's going to be this much. And it's going to be this much, not for a short period of time, a long period of time. I'll leave you with a quick story, and then I'll wrap this up. Years ago, I was having lunch with my mentor. And my mentor asked me the question. He said, Dan, what do you think is the number one quality of an entrepreneur? The number one quality of an entrepreneur. I said, well, I was so naive at the time. I said, I don't know, maybe, is it vision? You got to have a vision. I said, no. Is it you got to be able to lead? You got to have, build a team of people, teamwork. I said, no. Is it, you need persistence. You need to be able to persist and not give up. I said, no. Is it, you need money. You need capital, of course. Start a business, you need money. I said, no. And I went on and on and on. He said, you know what, all those are important, but they're not the most important qualities of a successful entrepreneur. It's just something I'll never forget. He said the quality of a successful entrepreneur is the ability to endure pain for a long period of time. The ability to endure pain for a long period of time. Now, at the time, I was so young and I didn't understand. But now, as I'm more mature, where I'm today, looking back, that's actually very, very accurate. The ability to endure pain for a long period of time. When everything else is against you, when the marketplace is against you, when your family is against you, when the whole world thinks you cannot make it, when in those dark days where you can't even, like your days away from getting like, your business shut down, where your lights turn off, those dark moments where you're alone and nobody understands and nobody could help you, even your spouse don't understand you, can you endure? You can do that again and again and again and again. That's the number one quality of an entrepreneur. So that's my answer. How do you start a business with no money? I went off a tangent a bit, but there's a lot of things I'll share with you. I think are very, very important. Investing for beginner. What are some of the most profitable investments that you can make? I get asked this question a lot. So today on the way, we're actually going to a dealership to pick up a new car for my executive director, her right-hand man, Desmond Soon. You might have seen him on Facebook. So today he's going to pick up a new car, his SQ5. So I want you to join with me and come along for the ride. Now, to answer your question, what are some of the most profitable investments that you can make? Now, people ask me that question usually because they don't know what to invest in. There's so much noise in the marketplace, right? People are talking about Bitcoin. I call that Buttcoin, right? The cryptocurrency. Or is it the stock market? Is it a mutual fund? Is it index fund? Is it real estate? Is it gold, oil? Like, what do you invest in? First of all, before we talk about the different types of investments out there, let me just share with you that the type of investments that rich people invest in versus the poor and middle class are very, very different. Very, very different. When you are in your income, when you make a certain amount of money, when you become a credit investor, when you make a certain level of income, the investment world opens up to you. There are many more choices and many more vehicles. Now, sometimes people might say that's very risky. A lot of investments you have never even heard of that suddenly now you can invest in. So, when it comes to investments, before you choose what type of investments you want to invest in, you first have to determine what kind of investor you are. It's like you're asking me, what kind of car should I buy? Well, it depends. Is you use it for like leisure? Are you using it for business? Are you using it to drive your family around? If that's the case, maybe SUV makes sense. If it's for like you like to drive fast car, maybe a sport car, that makes sense. Like a Porsche or a Ferrari, Lamborghini, whatever it is. A little bit more risky, costs more money. Or are you the type of investor that your age? Are you between 30 to 40 years old? Are you between 40 to 50? Because it also depends, as you get older, then you might want investment that more protect the capital. When you are younger, you can go a little bit more aggressive and say, I want growth, right? Growth versus security. That also makes a difference. So all that take into consideration. That's why I don't like the question where, okay, Dan, what should I invest in? Or what do you invest in? Well, what makes sense for me might not make sense for you, right? You may not be there yet, or the capital that you have, you may not be ready for that type of investment. Or what I like, okay, I like SUV, doesn't mean you should drive SUV, right? I like a sport car, doesn't mean you should drive a sport car. Even within sports car, there's so many different brands. I like certain type of color, I like certain type of engine, I like certain type of interior. Does that make sense? So it all depends. It all truly depends. The problem is, people ask that type of question, they're looking for an easy answer. Because most of the time, you haven't done your due diligence. You haven't done your research. You don't know what you should do. You don't know what you're interested in. So anything that sounds good, someone on Facebook talking about cryptocurrency, oh, that sounds good, I should do that. Your friend gave you a hot tip on a stock, let's jump into that, right? It's like you don't have clarity as an investor. So first, you got to know what type of investor you are. Are you more for growth? Are you more for capital gain? Are you more for security? You want dividends? All that makes a difference. Okay, so I don't like stocks personally. So I'm not a stock guy. I'm a real estate guy. But some people, my friends, they do very well with stocks. Good for them. It's not something I like. I don't have control over it. I don't like the fact that I put in the money. I can't call the CEO and say, hey, I don't like the way you're spending about this kind of expense, right? I can't control that. But for most people, that's good. I like control when it comes to investing. I like control in terms of the finance. I like control in terms of decision. I like businesses. I put money in businesses because I have a say. I can dictate. I can have some form of control of where the business could go. I like real estate because I have control over tax. I have control over the cash flow. I have control over the appreciation. A lot of different things, right? I can look at these things. It's slower. It is more stable. So it's up to, there's so many other factors. The second thing you got to consider is, are you a capital gain investor or are you a cash flow investor? So I'm a cash flow investor. Capital gain investor meaning that you buy something, you are expecting you buy something at a certain amount and it goes up, there's an appreciation, there's that you are making money on the upside, right, in the spread. That's perfectly fine. So that's a capital gain investor. Cash flow investor, on the other hand, we invest in something, we are looking for that consistent cash flow that will produce for us, right? I'm a cash flow investor. So I don't look at something and then buy something and invest in something. Hopefully, okay, I buy it in X. Hopefully in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, it'll go up to Y, and I sell that. That's good, but that's, to me, speculation. Nobody can predict. Nobody can be sure and guarantee that's going to be the upside. So I like cash flow investing, where I invest in something, I know the cash flow, let's say, is 10% return. Okay, cool. 10%, I know every year I'm getting 10% return back. So if it's 10%, no changes, it would take me 10 years to get all my money back. However, if there are things that I could do in terms of the investment where I could add value to it, such a piece of real estate where you buy, you fix it up, you add value, put a better tenant, if there's a commercial real estate, that can increase the value of the property, of the asset, that makes sense to me. So that's just my personal preference. Again, just me. Doesn't mean that's what you should do either. So capital gain versus cash flow investing. Third thing, and the most important thing, is depends on where the stage you are at. I think, and this is my opinion, if you are making less than $250,000 a year, income-wise, the best investment that you can make is in yourself. Investing, upgrading your skills, investing, upgrading your knowledge, right? Your skill set. So your earning ability is improved. Your earning ability is improved. So let's say you are a consultant. You're making $250,000 a year. Yeah, you could invest this and that, but to me, you need to make more money so you have more extra cash to invest. So let's say you're making $250,000 a year, and you take a program. You learn how to be able to run a workshop. So now you can serve more people, not just working with client one-on-one, but you can work in small groups. And you take that workshop, it costs you $10,000. And you learn that, and now you can offer a workshop, and from the workshop, you make $50,000, hypothetically. So that $10,000 investment that you invest in yourself now produces a return of $50,000. Now, that's a 500% return. Now, my question to you is, where can you get that kind of return? In any investments, you cannot. So when in doubt, when your income is not there, instead of trying to throw money at something where hopefully I'll get rich through that or whatever it is, and you jump on a bandwagon, and why not invest in yourself? Upgrading your skills, because that $10,000 you invest, you made $50,000. That's okay, because that skill stays with you. You can do that over again and again and again, and you can make money for the rest of your life. You can't go wrong when you invest in yourself. So when it comes to investing in my own education, like going to workshops, attending programs, hiring people, hiring consultants, learning from my advisors, I'm never cheap. I'm very generous. I'm willing to invest in that. I always invest, and you keep investing, and that's the difference. So the most profitable investment I believe that you can make at any age, invest in yourself. Once you've done that, your income has increased, then invest in your business, invest in your marketing, acquire those customers. If you spend on Facebook, if I spend every dollar I spend, if I get $3 and $5 back, and to acquire a customer, every dollar I put in, I can make $2, $3, $5 back. Again, that's 100% of return. You cannot get that from an investment, from a passive investment, but you could get that from your business, stuff that you can control. So I think you should get to that point where you are making yourself a lot of money. Let's say 250, 6 figure. Your business is making you a lot of money. So pays for your overhead, your expense, plus you have extra cash flow, extra profit. Now you take that money, now you invest in some type of investments. That's what I believe in. So there you go. May not be the answer you're looking for, but really do your research. Only invest in something you understand. Don't let greed controls you. Don't let greed takes over. Don't feel like you're missing out. You're not missing out on anything. There's always another deal. There's always another investment. So plenty of opportunities. Invest in something you understand. Invest in yourself. You can't go wrong with that.
Oh, wow. Holy smokes. Yeah, holy smokes. This is like a space facility. Absolutely. It's like NASA or something. Yeah, he's the new car. Are you kidding? Here's the key. Here's the key. Wow. Here's the Thank you very much. You're kidding. Holy shit.
Wow. You work hard. That's what's been with me almost 3 years now, right?
Yes.
My right-hand guy.
Yes.
It's been through a lot, right? And one of the dreams he told me was to get a new car for your dad.
My dad.
Your dad at a time, and he's worked very, very hard. And he deserved this. Truly deserved this. But
Thank you.
check out the new car. Check out the new car.
I love it. White and red Brembo brakes. I like that. Oh, look at the light. I love it.
This is awesome.
Oh God, I had no idea. Oh wow.
Wow.
Look at that.
Wow. Yes. This is very sexy. It's very sporty, very sexy. Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you very much. When Dan makes a promise, he keeps it. Thank you very much.
Just touch it.
Yeah, listen to that engine, buddy. One of the first thing I want to do, like this weekend, I'm going to stay at my parents' house, and I'll let him go for a drive.
That's nice. Very
Let
nice.
him,
Touch it, feel it, smell it.
yeah.
People ask me all the time, Dan, how could I learn to become more successful? Where could I learn? What is the best way to learn? Now, if you've been watching my videos for some time now, make sure you click on the subscribe button below and turn on the notification. It's the least that you can do. If you want me to keep making videos like this for you and keep delivering value, it's the least that you could do. I don't need a penny from you, but at least click on the subscribe button. Turn on the notification. Show me some support. Also share the video, share my channel with people that you think would benefit from my knowledge and my experience. So what is the best way to learn? There are 3 ways that you could learn. Number 1 is learning from yourself. What I call the school of hard knocks. You're learning from your mistakes, right? You figure things out. Now, it is good, and a lot of us do that. I made a lot of mistakes. I have paid the price through the school of hard knocks. The problem with learning from yourself is it costs a lot of time and it costs us a lot of money. There's a great saying, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. And it's very, very true. Learning from yourself, because most people, their awareness level is very, very low. Have you ever had this experience? You try something new, you make a mistake, and you say to yourself, I'll never make that mistake again. And next time you make that same fucking mistake again. And you say to yourself, no, I'll never, ever make that mistake again. And you make that mistake yet again. So even though you're learning from the school of hard knocks, you're learning from yourself, but really you have not learned your lesson. But given enough time, if you are persistent enough, if you're determined enough, yes, that's one way to go. The problem is that's a long journey. That is hard. That's a difficult path. To some degree, we all have to go through that, but you have to ask yourself, is that the best way to learn? So that's first way, learning from yourself. The second way to learn is learning from your peers, learning from people around you, your family, your friends, your colleagues. Now, which is fine. The problem with that is chances are sometimes you don't learn or you learn the wrong thing. So let me give an example. Imagine 2 people who both don't know how to dance. I lock them in a room and I say, hey, you know what? You guys teach each other how to dance. I'm going to come back in 30 days. Now, after 30 days, unlock the door, open the door. My question to you is, would they magically know how to dance? The answer is no, because they both don't know how to fucking dance. So how could they teach each other? It makes no sense. And if you look at the people around you, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Look at the people around you. Chances are they probably have similar lifestyle as you. They probably make the same amount of money as you. So how the fuck could you learn from each other? How the fuck do you learn from each other? You guys are at the same level. Or maybe they're a little bit lower, maybe they're a tiny little bit higher. Let's say you're making $50,000 a year. Chances are your friend is roughly making about the same amount of money. Maybe a little bit more, maybe 55, 60,000. You cannot learn from each other. What possibly could he or she teach you that would help you to get to that 100K, 200K, $500,000. They have not fucking done it. They have not done it. Or you learn the wrong thing. So think about your belief. Let's say when it comes to success, when it comes to money, when it comes to business, the people around you, what's their belief system? What do they know about it? What even your parents, what do they know when it comes to becoming more successful and creating wealth? Chances are very, very, very little. So if you pick up behaviors and habits and beliefs from them, chances are you will learn the wrong thing. And they will teach you what they know as the truth. Son, this is how you do it. This is the way to go, when may not be the case. So learning from your peers, so that doesn't work either. The third way to learn is what I believe the most powerful way to learn is to learn from a mentor. Learn from someone who's been there and done that and continues to do it. Someone who is not just who are at the same level, who is not even a little bit more successful than you. I'm talking about someone who is infinitely more successful than you, infinitely wiser than you, infinitely more experienced than you. So let's say you're making $50,000 a year. You don't want to learn from someone who's making $60,000 a year. You don't even want to learn from someone who's making $100,000 a year. You don't even want to learn from someone who's making $1 million a year. You want to learn from someone who's making $10 million a year, $20 million a year, $50 million a year, $100 million a year. Why? Because their level of thinking is so much higher. When you are learning from someone like that, easily they can pull you. They can uplift you to a whole new level. I remember when I was in my early 20s, at the time when I first found my mentor, his level of thinking at the time was so much higher. I was making a few $1,000s a month, a couple grand, and he said to me, he said, Dan, I'm not going to write a sales letter unless I believe it's going to do at least $1 million a year. I said, what the fuck? Yeah, he said, I'm not going to write a letter, a piece, a direct mail piece, unless I believe it's going to generate a minimum of $1 million a year. It expand my horizon. Now the possibility, oh wow, I'm still trying to make a few $100s with my marketing pieces. He's thinking he's not going to even waste his ink if it's not going to make him at least $1 million a year. That's what I'm talking about. So learning from a mentor. So the 3 ways to learn, you have to ask yourself, learning from yourself, which is perfectly fine, just costs a lot of fucking money and time. Second, learning from your peers. Chances are they're as broke as you are. They're the same level. Or third, learning from a mentor. Now, and I cannot be a mentor, by the way. I cannot be everyone's mentor. I'm spending a lot of my time just mentoring people who I work with, people who are my students. That's already taking a lot of my time. You got to find that someone. You got to find a mentor who you respect, someone who's where you want to be in your dreams, and then learn from that person. I believe that is the best way to learn. Until next time, I'll see you in my Bentley. Dan, what are some examples of high income skills? Now, if you have watched my wealth triangle video, you know there are 3 parts to the triangle. The first part is high income skill. The second part is scalable business. And the third part is high return investments. And today I'm not going to talk about all that because you can watch the video and I go more in depth onto the concept. But for now, let's just talk about high income skills. Now, for high income skills, I define high income skills as a skill that can make you a minimum of $10,000 a month or $120,000 per year. So, and it's a skill set that you developed that you can deliver value to the marketplace. Now, with a high income skill, you're still trading hours for dollars, but you're trading your hours for high dollars. And notice I said skill, it is not a job. If it's a job, then it's high income job. The problem with the job is your value is determined not by the marketplace, but by a manager or by a boss. So there's very little that you can do to dramatically increase your earning ability, to increase your income. Versus with a high income skill, if you are better at what you do, if you are better at closing, you're better at attracting clients, you can make more just like that. So let me give you an example in my own career. My very first high income skill that I've developed as a young guy in my early 20s was copywriting. I was writing ads and sales letters for entrepreneurs and companies and crafting these sales literatures and marketing pieces for them. And I was making about $10,000 a month as a young guy in my early 20s. And now back then, now I know for you watching this, I mean, it may be a lot of money, it may not be a lot of money, but back then for a young guy, early 20s, that felt like $1 million bucks. Like $10,000 a month was a lot of money for me back then. So that's my first high income skill. Then eventually, as I was writing copy for clients, they were asking me, well, Dan, that's great that you write these marketing pieces and sales copy for us, but how are we going to use it? Like, what's the best way to use this? So I said, well, you do this and this and this, and I started giving them advice. So from the high income skill, number one skill is copywriting, and then transition into kind of consulting, marketing consultation. And I was making about another $100,000, $120,000 a year doing that. So added another six-figure income to my earning ability. And third, after I was doing that, and I was transitioning into doing internet marketing, because from back then, if you read my book FU Money, if you haven't, you go to fumoneybook.com to download it. And through that period of time, and I transitioned, I was doing internet marketing, I was making more and more money, and it was great. And people started asking me, well, Dan, how do you do this internet marketing stuff? Can you teach us? I said, like, what do you mean? Like, can you do a class? I said, do a class? Like, what does that look like? And so basically, I got pushed into doing my first kind of seminar. And at first we had a few people, and then it grew to a dozen people, and then it grew and grew to hundreds of people. Then I developed my third high income skill, which is public speaking. I was conducting these workshops and seminars and making very, very good income doing it. Way more than $120,000 a year doing that. And so that's my third high income skill. From there, as I do more the public speaking, and then I was also speaking at other people's platform where I would offer my programs. And at first I would just teach, and that's good, but people, they don't buy anything, they don't take any action. So I developed my fourth high income skill, which is platform selling. That I was able to sell from the platform in a 90-minute talk, a 2-hour talk, a 60-minute talk, be able to deliver value, but at the same time be able to close and convince people to go to the back end and invest in my program. And I was selling my program for $1,000, $2,000, and there was a time when I would walk into a room and I would walk out with $10, $20, $30, $50,000 in sales, right? So that's another one of my high income skill. And as I made more and more money as a consultant, as a speaker, as a platform sales speaker as well, then I went into more investing. Then I was investing. Now, after money, how do I invest? What do I invest in, right? I would consider that's also my another one of my skill set. And that's also, I built my influence. I started to meet more business people, and I started doing a little bit of these kind of a deal-making, brokering kind of deal, where I would simply refer other people and I would collect a commission as a middle person, and I would put together these kind of deals and solve more complex business problems as a deal making. That's another one of my high income skill. So my idea of the whole thing is about you develop the first skill that you have and you stack it up. It's not about developing 5 skills at the same time. It's you build one, and then you build another, and you build another, and you build another. I call that stacking on your success. That you have a layer, a foundation of success first, and then you build on top of it, and then you build on top of it, and then you build on top of it. And that's what I've done over the years. So over the years, my businesses have ups and downs. I've had great years, I've had horrible years. I've made some great money in some great years. I've lost a ton of money, millions of dollars in some bad years. But what's very, very interesting is over the years, because I've always rely on my high income skills to make me money, that I make me money, that I can count on that. Even my businesses are not doing well, or I made a bad investment, it's not a big deal because I can always fall back on my high income skills. I can count on myself. Hey, I can go on stage and I can speak. I can consult, I can add value, I can solve problems, I can make money that way. So ups and downs, that's okay. And I'm fortunate because of that. I guess I've had friends where they don't have the high income skills and they just have the business. And when the business does poorly, I mean, you can see the cycle. I mean, I mean, they could go bankrupt. They could be in a very bad place because they don't have that. So I'm fortunate, even though I have ups and downs in my businesses, I have my high income skills over the years. So every single year, my goal is to have my high income skills to increase my earning ability just by little bit every year. It could be 10%. But every single year, I want to be able to use my high income skills to make a little bit more money so I get a little bit better at what I do and I can improve that. And over the years, I never stop. Even doesn't matter how good my business are doing, I never stop being a consultant. I never stop being a speaker. It's a question of doing a little bit less or more. But I always have those income coming in using my high income skills. So it's not so much what high income skills, I've given you some examples. Those are just what worked in my life. But it could also be, I have a friend of mine who is a ballroom dance instructor who makes $10,000 a month, cash by the way, because he collects cash. That's a high income skill. That's perfectly fine. So it doesn't have to be all like sales and marketing related. It just happens to be what I do. You could be a golf instructor for what I can see. Are you very good at what you do? Sure. You can be a graphic designer. You can be a programmer. You can be as a freelancer. You can, whatever you do, you're delivering value to the marketplace, helping people solving their problems, and you charge good money for it. That's a high income skill. That's your base. That's your cash flow. That gives you stability.
Wow, so that really makes a lot of sense, Dan. What you're saying is it doesn't matter what books you read. It depends on what stage you're in that you read certain books.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So then I guess my next question would be, because I see you read a lot of books. So how do you effectively learn? What's the fastest way to get the best information out in a short period of time?
I don't read books, I use books. And that's a big distinction. So when I read a book, my idea, I'm not trying to understand everything the author is saying. I'm not trying to understand all his background, because the purpose of learning is mastery. It's all about implementation. So let me give you some examples. Sometimes if I'm reading a book, it's not like, I know there are people talking about, I read a book a day, I read a book a week, or whatever. I read about 2 to 3 books a week. I'm constantly learning podcasts or different programs or different things, or talking to consultants. That's how I learn the most. But when it comes to reading, I read a book. Sometimes if I'm looking for any book that I read, I have a simple question. I want to get, what are the 3 ideas that I can get from the book that I can implement right now? Just 3. Not 10, not 20, not 100, 3 ideas. If I could get those 3 ideas from the first 3 chapters, I will highlight those, I will take those, and I'll put the book away. I'll put it back on the shelf. Maybe later on I'll go back there and read the rest of the book and implement some of the other ideas. But if I got my big 3, that's all I need. Sometimes I would get those ideas in the back of each chapter where they're talking about action steps and summary and resources. That's awesome. Sometimes I got the idea just from the table of content. If I read the table of content, that gave me enough 3 ideas. I put it away and then just implement. So I don't read books. It's not about accumulation. I think here's a big distinction I want you to get. One of the most powerful tool, one of the most powerful mindset you need to have in life and business is clarity. And clarity is power. Clarity is power. And what is power? The power is the ability to take action. So if the more you read, the more confused that you get, it gives you less clarity. It means it takes away from your power. If more reading gives you more clarity and gives you more ability to act, that's good. That's powerful, right? That's on the right track. So there's a big difference between information and knowledge to wisdom. Let me explain. This would give you a lot of clarity. Information is just facts, data, numbers, figures, theories, principles. That's just information. There's a lot of information on the internet. There's a lot of information on YouTube. There's a lot of information on Google. There's a lot of information, but information itself does not help you. It does not make you richer. It does not make you happier. It does not make you healthier. It does not make you smarter. Information is just information. It's like when you go to school, right? You're going to class, your textbook. There's a lot of information in the textbook, right? That's the first stage. Once you gather enough information, now you're accumulating what I call knowledge. So you get a lot of information, and you now learn about the distinctions. Now you take that information, you apply it, or maybe you take that information and you take a test. That's knowledge. After the test, you know after the exam in school, oh, that works, or oh, no, that was the wrong answer, or I didn't pass the exam, or here are the mistakes that I got wrong. Well, you're learning from it, right? That's accumulating your knowledge. So a lot of people, they read books to acquire information. You watch video to acquire information, and you wonder, how come I'm watching a lot of videos, I'm learning, but my life is still the fucking same? Because you haven't converted information to knowledge, and from knowledge into experience. Now, how do you convert knowledge into experience? So now you acquire some knowledge, you got to implement. And the only way you get experience is you fucked up a lot, right? You make the mistakes. You see if this stuff works, right? Now you're getting experience. You're seeing a pattern of things. Goes back to the school example. Now you take enough exams. Remember the class you take from like grade 9, 10, 11, 12, right? Now you take enough exams, studying the same subject for many years in a row. Now you see a pattern. Okay, I'm accumulating more things. I'm getting more experience of what works and what doesn't. Now experience, that's much more valuable. It's more valuable than knowledge, and knowledge is more valuable than information. So books itself is just information. Information does not change your life. Information doesn't change your life. You got to convert it by gathering, filter into knowledge. From knowledge, now you implement. Now you get to the next step, which is experience. Then from experience, from now you have done it long enough, a long period of time, now is evolve into wisdom. And there's a big difference between information or even knowledge versus wisdom. I don't think if you talk to most people, I don't think I'm a super smart guy. I don't think they describe me as a smart guy. They describe more me as a wise man. I'm wise because I've done a lot of things, a lot of experience, right? And that's the thing. A lot of people are smart, but they're not wise. Wisdom is something completely different, okay? Wisdom is knowing what not to do. Wisdom is knowing when you don't have to do something. So let's say in enough experience, you know what? This is how I'm going to make this work. These are 20 things that I could do. My experience tells me these are the 20 things I could do to make me successful. Wisdom is knowing, okay, 19 of these is bullshit, just do this one. That is the difference. Knowledge is about accumulation. Wisdom is about elimination. Sleep on that. Wisdom is about elimination. It is about simplicity. It's not about daily increase, it's about daily decrease. But you cannot get to wisdom without knowledge. You cannot get to wisdom without experience. You have to go through all of that. Now you can simplify everything that you do. And there are only few things that you need to do to get you the results. You don't need to do 100 things. You can do a couple of things and you do it well, and that's wisdom. And most people, they're smart, but they're not wise. And you can tell. You can tell from the way that they share, the way that they communicate, there's not a lot of depth. Where they speak from, the place they speak from, it lacks a lot of depth. But when you're talking to a wise man, you see, wow, that makes a lot of sense. Whatever he's speaking about, it makes a lot of sense. There's depth behind those words. That's wisdom. That's what I'm talking about. So I don't read books, I use books. It's all about taking ideas, taking information, convert it into knowledge, and as soon as I convert into knowledge, I want it to turn into an experience, and then I want to filter through my years of experience and then condense that into wisdom that I have, that what works for me. What works for me may not work for you. My wisdom is different from yours, but this is what works for me. So there are many stages learning. It's not so much, oh, what books should I read then, or what's the best way to learn, or all this stuff. You see, it's a very surface level question. You need to go deeper than that. You need to go deeper than that. You need to go beyond and just watching videos to now taking the information, what I'm teaching you, implementing it, go out there in the real world, apply this shit, and see what works. What works for you, what doesn't work for you. You gotta go, you can read about how to swim until you are in the swimming pool, right? Until you swim, you learn, and now you can swim back and forth many, many laps, and then now you're swimming in the lake, right? That's experience. Now when you have wisdom, you go swim in the ocean, but you also know better not go that area, there are sharks there, right? That's wisdom. Why you're fucking poor? I'm not hostile towards people who have negative comments or dislike me. Frankly, I don't give a fuck. I really do not give a fuck. Because people, first of all, they dislike the keyboard warriors. They're fucking probably at home jacking off and typing on the keyboards. They see something. They're so fucking naive that they watch a video or they see a line, they watch 2 minutes of it, and somehow that they come to the conclusion, oh, this person is that or that person is that. I mean, they've got nothing going on in their life, and that's why they're attacking people on the internet. I actually don't give a fuck. I'm not hostile towards people who dislike me because I really don't care. You watch my video, you don't watch my video, you give me a thumbs up, you give me a thumbs down. It doesn't change my life one iota. Believe me, I'm still in my Bentley. I still have nice dinner and nice places. It doesn't affect my life one fucking bit. It doesn't. So I really do not, that's not the problem. What is a problem is when people who give comments, when people who give criticisms, when people who give suggestions, they don't have the right to do so. They're telling you this, they're telling you that. What the fuck gives you the right to give me business advice? And if you don't like my video, don't fucking watch it. Like, you think you're watching the video and you are, like, I have some ads and I make a few pennies from the Google AdSense. Like, that makes a fucking difference in my life. It doesn't. I don't care if you watch it, right? If you don't like to watch it, then don't watch it. Then if you do watch it, then hopefully you learn something from it. And that's good. And that's good. And people who appreciate what I do, it's like I'm taking the time doing this. I don't do it for the money. There's no money in this, just so you know. There's no fucking money in this. I'm doing it, taking my time, sharing my knowledge with you. And for the fucking losers who don't know fucking shit, who know nothing about me, who type in his comments, that's what I'm mad about. Because at the same time, I know these haters don't hate me, they hate themselves. You don't hate me, you hate yourself. It's all jealousies, insecurities, ego. That's what it is. It's not about that. So I have no problem. I really don't care. My life is fine. You watch my video, you don't watch my video, either fine. You click on the ad, you don't click on the ad. It doesn't matter. I am talking to the people. I'm creating this channel for the people who are hungry to learn. For you who are open, who are willing to improve your life. The go-getters. People who want to make something of themselves. People who want to build your business. People who make a commitment to provide a gift to the world. That's who I'm creating this channel for. Other people, I don't give a fuck. People complain, people who are losers, people who do nothing with their life, I really do not care. And that's why I really, when I say I don't dislike, it's okay. Don't watch it. Don't subscribe. Like, I really. But the people who really want to learn, people who are hungry, people who really want it, people who really want to be successful, that's who I serve. That's what this is channel is for. And that's why you're fucking poor. Sometimes even you guys ask me a question, God damn it, where it's so, I have over now 600-700 videos on YouTube. No, Dan, can I ask you a question about this? It's fucking on YouTube already. But you can't even fucking search it. It's too fucking hard to even type in the fucking word to search that video, to watch, to click, to watch the video. Oh, Dan, it's too hard. Can you organize it? Okay, fine, organize a fucking playlist for you. I can't find a fucking playlist. Even that's too fucking difficult. That is even a problem. And you say you want to be successful. Give me a fucking break. You can't even click on the fucking thing. And then you want to be successful. Any kind of resistance, any kind of challenge in the business world, the business world will crush you. No problem. That's what I'm talking about. Like the young guys nowadays, right? Just not lack of resources. It's just so fucking lazy mentally. Just you can't even find this shit. Like clicking is too much, right? And then you have to ask, oh, what about this? Watch the videos. If you seriously want to learn from me, watch a couple hundred videos. Immerse yourself in the teaching first. Sometimes that's a problem with YouTube because it's so easy access. Ease of access. You can click on it. You can watch my videos anytime. And people sometimes take it for granted. In business world, when people even want to try to get in touch with me, try to get access to me, how difficult that is. But I'm making myself available. And here's what I get. Fucking haters, critics, we don't know shit, commenting and all this shit. That's why. Go get a fucking life, right? That's why you're fucking poor. What is the most important habit that you can develop to be successful? Human beings, we are creatures of habits. I believe that no one succeeds overnight and no one fails overnight. Usually it is because of a series of decisions that you make that leads to where you are today. Which a lot of those decisions, chances are they are nothing more than the habits you have on a daily basis. Now, in order to be successful, I believe there are like many, many habits you need to develop. But I think the one habit that you must develop that will change your life, that will change your world, is this one thing. I want you to imagine this. I want you to kind of draw a circle. If you're watching my video, you are in front of your desk, go ahead and do that. I want to draw a big circle. And within the circle, I want to draw everything that you have in your life right now, that you already have. Maybe it's the car that you drive, the income that you have, the house that you live in, the vacation that you already take, the people around you. Right? It doesn't have to be materialistic, but doesn't really matter what it is. The things that you already have right now, you possess in your life. I want to draw that within the circle. Write all those things down. Then I want you to, outside the circle, write down everything that you want in your life, but you don't have. Okay, so maybe now you are driving a Hyundai, and you actually want a Mercedes. Okay, let's draw them. So write down a Mercedes outside the circle. Maybe you're living in a condo, but you actually want to live in a big house. Okay, write that outside of the circle. So I want you to write that. So within the circle is everything that you have right now. Outside the circle is everything that you want but don't have. So I want you to look at this right now. What is the circle? The circle is your comfort zone. Everything you have right now in your life, they are all within your comfort zone. And your comfort zone is your income zone. I want you to look at everything that you want but don't have. Where are they? They are outside of your comfort zone. Depends on where you put it. So in order to get what you want but don't have in life, what do you have to do? You need to stretch and expand your comfort zone. Because if it's within your comfort zone, guess what? You already have them. So everything that you want in life that you don't have right now is all outside of your comfort zone. So I believe the number one habit you need to develop to be successful, it's on a consistent, if not a daily basis, do things that make you feel uncomfortable. It is that simple. Because you look at what holds most people back. What holds you back is fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of failure. Fear of rejection. Fear of success. All these things is all outside your comfort zone. Human being, because we're a creature of habits, we tend to operate day to day and do the same thing again and again and again. But if you have a habit, you make a habit that you do things on a consistent basis that you don't usually do, it makes you scared. It scares the fuck out of you. It makes you stretch your comfort zone. That's how you gradually expand that and get more of what you want. Maybe it's going to that event that you've never been to. Maybe it's meeting that successful people that intimidates you. Maybe it's reading a book that you have no interest reading in. Maybe it's driving a different path that you usually go home this way. Hey, you know what? I'm going to drive a different path and see something a little bit different, right? Maybe it's watching a video that you don't usually watch. Maybe you're interested in certain topics. Maybe you're watching a YouTube video just on prank. But suddenly you watch something that is on inspiration and motivational, that's practical, that's business related. And that changes the way that you think about stuff. It started with that one thing, that one video. And if you do that, not one time, not two times, not three times, but hundreds and hundreds of times on a consistent basis, I believe that is the habit. Not just to be successful, but to stay successful. When you're constantly pushing yourself outside the comfort zone, guess what? You will learn. You will take new action. You will acquire new knowledge. You will meet new people, and that will lead to new opportunities. You might develop a new skill, right? You might start a new business. All these things that you do is nothing more than doing things that scares the shit out of you on a consistent basis. Instead of avoiding the fear, you are facing the fear and you are pushing and pushing and pushing a limit. That is the number one thing that you need, I strongly believe, to be successful. So develop the habit today. Do something that you don't usually do. Do something that scares you. Do something that makes you uncomfortable. Don't do things, if you're not doing things at least once a week, once a month, that makes your stomach sick, that makes you want to throw up, that scares the fuck out of you, you're not growing. It's that simple. Until next time, I'll see you in my belly. Are you watching another motivational video? Well, this is not one of those videos. Have you ever wondered why you watch so many damn motivational videos and your life stays the same? Or you get all motivated, all excited, psyched up and hyped up, and you only improve your life very, very little. Maybe it's that 3%, 5%, 10%. Maybe you experience a little bit more success. You make a little bit more money, but never the breakthrough that you were hoping for. Let me tell you why motivational videos are garbage and they don't work. By the way, if you've been following my work or this is the first time you watch my video, let me tell you this. I have so many people, they tell me, Dan, you're such an inspiration. Or I find you motivational. Let me tell you this. I am not here to motivate you. I cannot motivate you. Only you can motivate you. I'm a merchant of truth. I simply tell you the truth, what it actually takes to be successful. Not, oh yeah, you get all motivated and you'll be fine. Let me tell you this. When you watch motivational videos and you get this energy and you get all this excitement, and what it does is it gives you the illusion that you're actually doing something. That's not the answer. What is the answer? The answer is skill. Without skills, with just motivation, here's what you have. When you motivate an idiot, all you have is a motivated idiot. You need skills. You could watch Bruce Lee's movies 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. You're not going to be Bruce Lee because you don't have the skills of Bruce Lee. You can watch someone's videos, you can watch my video, you can watch 10, 20, 50, 100, 1,000 motivational videos. But if you don't develop your skills, your life stays the same. You can watch all of my videos, but you'll never have my skill sets. Because video itself like this, that's not how you develop skills. That's not how I transfer my skills to you. However, look at it the other way. When you combine motivation, the tenacity, the drive, you combine that with skills, that equals results. Now the next question you have is, Dan, then how do I develop that skill? Let me teach you the formula. Here's exactly how to develop it. You need a triangle. You need 3 parts to this. Imagine a triangle. Number 1, you need proximity. You need proximity, and proximity equals power. You need to get feedback. You need to learn from someone. You need a mentor. You need a coach. Someone to teach you. You need to get close to that person. Whatever that you could do. Right now, if we're connecting this way through a video, the distance, the proximity, it's very, very far away. Right? If let's say I'm coaching you through a class, that's closer. If I'm coaching you through a seminar, that's better. If I'm coaching you one-on-one, that's the best. But obviously, I cannot coach everyone one-on-one. So proximity, that's number 1. Second is immersion. How do you immerse yourself? Intensity. Immerse yourself into something. And that's how you get good. Watching a video here and there, get a little high, a little energy, a little boost in energy. It doesn't do anything to you. And how do you get good at something? Total immersion. So second part is immersion. Third, experience. Now you have someone teaching you. You have that proximity. And then you're immersing yourself. Now you got to practice this stuff. You got to practice and put it into practice and build your own and gain your own experience. When you combine those 3, now that's how to develop skill. No different. Think about if you're learning martial art. You can watch 100 martial art videos. You're not going to learn martial art unless you're practicing, unless you have a sifu, an instructor, a sensei giving you feedback, unless you immerse yourself, you're going to class once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, and you practice. You practice 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, and then you gain experience by sparring, right, with your opponent, with your brothers and sisters in the class. And you do that and go back, get feedback, proximity, immersion again, and then experience. This is how you develop skill. Motivation itself means very little if you don't have the skill to back it up. So this will save you a whole lot of time. And that's what I do. I take all my students through a 7-week intense immersion process where they get proximity with me, and then I give them a skill. I teach them a skill, and then they would go practice with each other, and they get experience in the real world, right? And then come back, proximity. This 7-week experience, I call that the High Ticket Closer Certification Program. If you want to develop your skill, if you don't just want to be a motivated person, a motivated idiot. You actually want to develop some real skills in the real world. People ask me the question, Dan, if you could start all over again, you can go back earlier in time, what would you have done differently? Maybe you're starting over again in your 20s. Maybe you're starting over again in your 30s or in your 40s or 50s. Today I'm going to share with you 3 things that I would have changed if I have the opportunity to go back in time. So looking back in my career, I've done so many things. I've had a lot of accomplishments. I've had probably way more failures and just like disasters in my career. And so looking back, a lot of things I wouldn't have changed. I wouldn't have said, oh, wouldn't want to make those mistakes, because if I didn't make those mistakes, I would not have learned. And without those lessons, I wouldn't be where I am today. But looking back, if there are things that I would have changed about my life, what I would have done differently, I think the first thing is I would have want to find a mentor early in my career, because with all those business failures, if you follow my work, then you will know that I started and failed at 13 businesses before having my first success, and that's when I found my mentor. And at the time I was starting all these businesses, and I lost all my money, and I lost all my mom's savings, and I maxed out my credit card and borrowed money from family and friends. So I was $150,000 in debt. If I would have found my mentor earlier, I wouldn't have been. I don't think I would have failed in that many businesses, and I wouldn't have lost that much money. I would have lost still some money, but I wouldn't have lost as much. So I wish I would have found my mentor earlier, because I was just young and naive. Even the concept of the whole mentorship, I didn't think about that. I was just thinking, hey man, entrepreneurs, you're supposed to be a lone wolf. You're supposed to kind of figure shit out on your own, and I never thought about asking and seeking for help. And that's I think the problem with a lot of entrepreneurs, that the ego gets in their way, right? Just last night, one of my mentees sent me a little thing where he's at a conference. He was seeing other people, and he sent me a message like how much he finally kind of got what I was teaching him for 2 years, and he now have so much more appreciation for what I've taught him, right? And he gave me a little quote. I loved it. It's like STFU and listen to seafood. Basically, shut the fuck up and listen to seafood, right? He said, I'm ready to shut the fuck up and listen to seafood after 2 years. So, and I wish I would have learned this the same way when I even found my first mentor, Alan, in my early 20s, as young guy, right? Trying to prove myself, still have ego and all this stuff that even though I listened to my mentor in some way, but I was still trying to, Alan, I got it, but I want to try it my way. I want to kind of do it my thing. I wish I would have not done that. I wish I'd have just listened and fucking follow the advice. I would have again made a lot less mistakes. So my first thing I would change is I would find a mentor earlier, and I would have fucking listened. I would have been more coachable. I would have just yep, that's fine. Mentor, Alan, you said do it this way, I'll do it your way, versus trying to do it my way and prove myself and all this shit. Because there was a reason why I found him as a mentor. There was a reason why he's where he is today. So I would have listened a lot more. That's number one. The second thing that I would have changed is I would think bigger. I would think bigger. Because at the time, when I got into the whole business thing, the first thing I thought of, I just wanted to provide for my mom, right? That was my motivation. So I would just want to make enough money that I can provide for my mom, and it's good, live a comfortable life. And then after I got that, then my goal was just to, make enough so I can sit on the beach and do nothing and retire and become financially free. And when I did that, I thought, oh, that's good, but it just was so boring, right? Bored out of my mind, actually. So I wish I would have thought bigger. Because by thinking bigger, it doesn't mean that you are greedy. It doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. By thinking bigger, let me give you an example. If you want to make $100,000 a year, versus you want to make $1 million a year, or you want to make $10 million a year, it's a very different level of thinking. If you want to think bigger, you want to do bigger things. When you think bigger, it changes the way that you look at things. Then when it changes the way you look at things, if you're not just a dreamer, you're actually an action taker, it would change the way that you operate. You will look at what you do very, very differently. Because now you're thinking, you are making your goal 2, 3, 5, 10 times bigger, right? Just like my mentor said when he shared with me, hey, whatever goal that you have, just add a 0 to it. Suddenly when you do that, oh, there's a 0 to it, what do I mean? And it fucks up your mind. And when you calm down, you think about what you do, oh, okay. Let's say hypothetically, let's just brainstorm. What would it look like if I am 10 times bigger? If I want to 10x, what is it that I'm doing? I want to increase my income by 10 times. What does it look like? Who do I have to be in order to earn that kind of money? Who do you have to become? It changes the way you think about things. Then you will not get to that by just working a little bit harder. You're not going to get to that by, maybe it's a little bit incremental improvement, 5-10%, but definitely you're not going to 10 times it. It requires you to be a different person. So I think I would change that. I would think bigger. Now I think much, much bigger, but it took me so many years to build the confidence to develop my abilities. But I think if I would have thought a little bit bigger, I would operate a little bit differently. And the third thing that I would change, the biggest thing I would change is I wish I would have spent more time with my father. I think that's one of my biggest regrets in life, that when he passed away, that I wasn't there with him. And because of I'm in here and he's in Hong Kong, although I went back to see him a few times, but as a father and son, we didn't spend a lot of time together, even when I was growing up and after I immigrated to here and he was in Hong Kong. That's probably one of the things I wish I could have changed. That if I could go back, I wish I would have one more dinner with him, or have one more conversation with him to show more of my appreciation and love. Although I did, but I think I could have done more. So I think that would be the one thing I wish I would have changed. So those are the three things. So two business, but one is more personal. So if you are, of course, your journey, you're building your business, you are hustling, right? You're working hard and you're building your dream, you're doing it for your family. But do spend time with the family. I think do spend time with them, and don't say, you know what, I'll get there. And you'll get there. Of course, you got to make some sacrifices. But once you experience a little bit of success, once you are okay, you're stable, you're comfortable, yeah, spend some time with them. I think I wish I would have done that. I really wish I would have done that. And when it's too late, it's too late. There's nothing. I can't write a check. I can't spend money to say I want to buy the time back. I can't, right? All I could do is now, remember him, honor him, doing what I do, make him proud, because I'm sure he could see it. But I really wish I would spend more time. So those are the three things. If I could go back in time, I would say find my mentor earlier, listen to my mentor, really listen. Number two is I would have think bigger. And number three, spend more time with my dad. One of the most common questions I get for the Boss In The Bentley series is, Dan, what should I invest in? Dan, what do you invest in? How should I look at investments? I put some money aside. I've got $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $100,000, $200,000. What do you recommend? Today I'm going to teach you how rich people invest their money. I'm not going to teach you what to invest, because what you invest in depends on what you like, what do you don't like, what do you understand, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and how much money you have. What's a good investment for me might not be a good investment for you. What's a good investment for somebody else may not be a good investment for you. So how do I view investing? Number one, rich people, we invest in something that we understand. You look at Warren Buffett. I mean, he and Bill Gates have a great relationship, but he doesn't invest in tech companies. He doesn't invest in technology stocks. In spite he's one of the greatest investors of all time, he only invests something he understands. Same thing with me. I do not invest in cryptocurrency. So don't ask me about cryptocurrency. That's not my area of expertise. Now, I have friends who have made a lot of money. We're talking about 5, 10, 20 times multiples on their return of investment. And they are very good with cryptocurrency. They study cryptocurrency and how all of that works. And they sometimes give me tips. I never invest a single dime, not a single penny. I trust my friend. It doesn't matter because it's not something that I understand. So rich people invest in what we understand. If you believe someone's hot tip, you believe someone says on Facebook like post, oh, you should buy this, you should invest in that, you're a fucking idiot. Okay? So only invest something you understand. Don't buy into the whole get rich quick or you're going to miss out mentality. That's a very, very amateur investor. Number two, rich people were always looking for investments. We're always looking for investments. It means we're looking for, the term's called deal flow. We always want to have deal flow coming to us. always from all kinds of sources, right? It could be from broker, could be from friends, could like our high net worth friends. It could be from internet. We're always looking at deals. I have a simple rule: 100, 10, 3, 1. It means you look at 100 deals, 100 potential investments. You might break it down into 10. From that 10, you will nail down to 3 that has got possibility, and then you might do 1. So for every day that every investment that comes across my table, I turn down 99.9% of them. I look at hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of investments, and I do very selectively. Very selective, just a couple. Do you just anything that come across the table, you see online, oh, that sounds pretty good? Or if you're going to buy a stock, you look at 2 stocks and jump into 1. Or you buy a piece of property. Hey, that looks pretty good. Hey, look at 3 properties and you jump into 1. Again, you're not doing your research. Always remember, investigate before you invest. Investigate before you invest. Don't worry about you're going to miss the opportunity of a lifetime. You know what I've learned about when it comes to investments? There's always another deal. There's always another opportunity. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about missing out. If you're truly a professional investor, you don't have to worry about this shit. So, deal flow. Rich people are always looking for investments, and they narrow it down. Numbers game. Number 3, rich people, when it comes to investing, they use their logic, not emotions. Amateur investors, you look at most of the time when they invest in something, it's very emotional. Hey, my friend told me about this cryptocurrency, man. You gotta get in, man. It's a lot of fucking emotions, emotion attached to it, right? Or when they buy a real estate property. Oh man, I love this neighborhood. I love the color of the carpet. When I invest in an investment, there's no emotion. I don't care about the carpet color. I don't care about the bathroom. I don't care about all these things. What I care about is the numbers. I look at the numbers. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Using a logic. Or people, when it comes to stocks, amateur investors, that's why they lose money. They get greedy. Stock is going up. Price is going up. Well, you know what? They don't want to sell. Oh, I'm going to just keep riding the winner. I'm going to keep riding the winner. And then suddenly it drops, you lose money. Or the stock drops. And then you suddenly, well, you know what? It's going to bounce back. It's going to fucking drop some more. It's going to bounce back. They're using their emotions instead of logic versus, hey, you know what? The stock has gone up this much. I'm going to sell some of my shares and take my profit. And whatever that's keep going up, riding the winner, that's going to be gravy. Or there's a stop loss, right? When they drop to a certain percentage, I don't care. I take my emotions out of the way. You're going to sell. I want to cut my losses and minimize my losses. So they use their logic, not emotions. So when it comes to investing, if you're not sure how to invest, you're asking me that question, hey, Dan, what should I invest? What you should do then is, it tells me you are not sophisticated enough. You're not a sophisticated investor. If you're not so sure, the best investment you can make is always in yourself. Invest in training. Invest in things that can upgrade your skills. Right? Invest in yourself, because nobody can take that away from you. And you can always use that, and you'll get a better return when it comes to investing yourself than anything else you would invest in. Not a piece of property, not a business, not a stock, not cryptocurrency. Invest in yourself. Read that book. Go to that event. Take that training. Hire that consultant. Don't hesitate. Invest in yourself. It would always give you the greatest return. So that, to me, is the greatest investment. I constantly invest in myself. I constantly upgrading my skills. When it comes to investing myself, I never stop, and I never go on the cheap. Never. And I am already successful. So if that's the case, if that's me, what the hell should you be doing? How to find your life purpose. Before you do anything, I want you to hit the subscribe button below and turn on notification. Today, we're going to address the question, how do you find your life purpose? Why are you here? Welcome to another episode of Boss in the Bentley. This is Dan Locke, On my way to work, during meeting, this is what I do. I turn on the camera and I answer your questions. If you want to ask me a questions, comment below. One of the most common questions I get from people from all kinds of age group is, Dan, how do I find my purpose? How do I find out what am I here for? What's the reason of my very existence? I think sometimes people get confused with the whole finding your purpose thing, where they think, okay, I'm just going to wait, I'm going to visualize, and something's going to fall in my lap. Oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. I don't quite agree with that philosophy. I do think we all here for a reason, but it's not so much where you just kind of find that thing and then everything will work out. I think a lot of people, they kind of procrastinate, they kind of wait, oh yeah, that's not my purpose, that's not what I want to do yet, and they just procrastinate too much. I think when it comes to asking what is my life purpose, that's not the real question. The question is, how do I invest and how should I spend my time on something important? That's really the question. How do I spend my time on something that's important? How do I live my life that's important? That's actually the question. So how do you do that? I can give you some guidance and maybe give you some questions. And it's not as complex as what most people think. First, I think the very question you should ask yourself is, what do you love to do? What do you love to do? That when you do that thing, when you are doing that kind of work, that you just forget about time. You forget about to eat. Time just disappears. What are you so passionate about? When you do it, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't. You don't even care if you get paid doing it. You love doing it. That's your joy. That's your passion. What do you love to do? That's question number one. Assuming you have that. Now, if you don't, you cannot even answer that question. Then I don't know what I love to do. What it tells me is you haven't tried enough things. You haven't tried enough things that you didn't like. That's why you don't know what do you like to do. So what do you love to do? Second question is, what are you good at? What's your natural talent? That when you do that thing that you love, somehow when people will tell you, wow, you know, you're so natural, you're so good at it. Wow, like I don't know even how you do that. And to you, like, it's so easy. What do you mean? Just do it, and you just do this. That's your natural talent, your strength. So what's your natural talent? That's the second question. The third question you need to ask to find your life purpose is, who do you like to help? Who do you like to help? When it comes to life purpose, you got to, in order to kind of find it, to identify what it is, you need to think bigger than yourself. You need to think bigger than what's just around you. You need to think bigger than just survival. You need to think bigger than just paying the bills. You got to think about not just internal me. You got to think about who do I enjoy helping? Who do I enjoy serving? It's very, very important, because only when you, through giving and through serving, through contributing, you get satisfaction, you get joy. If you just do it for your own ego, you just do it for your own gain, you just do it for me, yes, you'll get achievement, but you won't get fulfillment. And that's the problem. Sometimes people, they try to win the race for fulfillment running on a track of achievement, and it doesn't work. They're two very different things. So the third question, who do you enjoy helping? And the number four question is, not just who do you enjoy helping, who do you enjoy hanging around with? Who do you enjoy spending time with? Because think about that, the people that you spend time with, at the end of the day, I think life is made up of experience. It's made up of memories. And at the end of the day, that's all that is. It's not things, it's not possessions, it's by the time you lay on your deathbed, all you remember are just memories. That's it. The people you spend time with, the people you've helped. What's your legacy? That's what legacy is. When you die, who is going to your funeral? Who's going to remember you? What are they going to say about you? And for most people, it's very sad. They probably don't have much good thing to say about you, because your whole life you actually haven't impacted a lot of people. You haven't helped a lot of people. You're just going through life, paying the bills, doing my thing, going to a job, have a mortgage. So in a funeral, maybe you have 2, 3, 5 people. You know, some family members, and that's it. And that's not what life is about. I don't think that's what life is about. So life is not so much about finding yourself. It's about creating yourself. I don't even know, even until this point, is it or my life purpose is to impact entrepreneurs, impact people, to help them see, to become a better version of themselves. That's what I do. To help them become a better version of themselves, to inspire you, to motivate you, to give you tools to become a better man, a better woman, a better husband, a better wife, a better father, a better son. That's what I do. That's my mission. That's my purpose. That's why I make these videos. And so, is it something that's just fall in my lap that, oh, you're supposed to make videos, you're supposed to go out there and do speech, you're supposed to do that? I don't know. But I tried enough things. I found out, okay, you know what? I love doing this. I get joy from doing this. And then as I do more, of course, I enjoy doing it. I get better at it. And then people say, oh, you're talented at this. I don't know if I am, but through enough practice, maybe I am. And through that, oh, well, you know, I'm also helping people. And people are telling me my video, my message, my story has impacted your life. Wow, okay. And through that, maybe I can, that's become slowly, oh, wow, I'm good at it. I'm impacting people. I'm helping other people, and I enjoy being around entrepreneurs. I enjoy just having conversations with people who are go-getters, who are hungry, who are not wannabes but gonnabes, who want to make something out of themselves, who want to provide a better future for their family. Those conversations I love. I hate to have conversations with people who are like doom and gloom, bitching about the sports game, bitching about the life, bitching about the work. I don't have time for that. So I know that's what I don't want, to spend my time with those people. So naturally I gravitate towards spending time with people who are positive, spending time with people who are business oriented, who have the abundance mindset. That's why. That's how this whole thing, that's how I form, how I identify, how I found my life purpose. So don't think it's that too complicated. You can't find your purpose by just sitting there and thinking, oh yeah, you know, Dan, what's my life purpose? How the fuck do I know? Do something. Try something. Try more things. Try that, you know what, that doesn't work for me. Okay, try something else. That doesn't work for me. Try something else. That doesn't work for me. Try something else. Oh, okay, I like this. And people recognize me for this. I'm good at this. I'm helping people. I'm impacting people. So it's very interesting to find that purpose. You got to think beyond than yourself. You need to think bigger than yourself, more than just you. It has to be about more than you, because that's how you leave a legacy. When you can do that, that's a life purpose. It may not be a one line. It may not be so clear of my purpose is to blank, but you would know. When you're doing something you love, when you're doing with the people you want to do it with, when you know you're helping people, when you are providing a good life for yourself and your family, when you are good at it, that's life. What more do you want? What more do you want? That's a good life to me. If you can consistently, every day experience those type of emotions, joy, satisfaction, pride, not ego, pride from doing good work, pride from knowing that you are good at what you do, you take pride in what you do, that the outcome, the product, and you know you're making an impact, you know you are serving people, and you know you are secure, and you know you're providing a financial, a solid financial future for your family. What more do you want? That's about it. It doesn't get more simpler than that. That's really what life is about. It's not so woo-woo, foo-foo. Here's a purpose. Here's a statement that what your life is about. And your purpose might change. My purpose changed from my early 20s to 30s to now where I am. It changes too. It's not like you're born and suddenly someone gives you a statement. Hey, you know what? This baby, that's the purpose. Here's another baby, that's that baby's purpose. No, life, it's about, I say it again, not finding yourself, creating yourself. What do you want to create and shape and create that? It's like a sculpture. You are sculpture, and you are the only one that know how to shape that and how you want it to be shaped. So there you go. That's how you find your life purpose. Very good question. How do you get the most out of any seminar, any event, or any workshop that you go to? If you're like me, then you're always about improving yourself, and maybe you attend a lot of different seminars in a year or over several years. How do you get the most out of it? Today I'm going to share with you my perspective. Just in the last 60 days, I've gone to 6 different events just because I'm always about improving myself, and I love the live environment. I think nothing is more powerful when you get out of your own environment, get out of your own city, and you go somewhere and just have some learning time, some thinking time. And I always, on my way to the event, on the flight, I would plan, I would think about different things, I would reflect. So how do you get the most out of any seminar, any event that you go to? So first of all, I look at any event, and it's just me. I think most people, they go to an event, they just go there to learn. Meaning they go there, they're thinking it's like a classroom, right? They have a big notebook or the laptop, they go there and they try to take as much notes as possible, and they bring home, they bring the big binder, and they go home, and that becomes shelf help, not self-help. You put on a shelf and you never touch it again. It becomes what I call very expensive dust collector. I don't want that to happen to you, okay? I want you to implement. So the way I go to the event, when I go to the event, I wear 3 different hats, okay? Stay with me. 3 different hats. First thing that I want to get out of the event, my first hat is the connector hat. I'm going there to connect with people because business is all about relationship. Wealth is created by relationships. So I want to make sure that I connect with the right people, with the players, with the important people, and establish those relationships. So before I go to the event, I'll have sometimes my team just do some research ahead of time. Who is attending the event? Who is speaking at the event? Who are the people that I want to make sure I connect with? So I would wear my connector's hat and then go there. My focus is I want to connect with the right people. I want to establish those relationships, deliver what value can I deliver to them. That's why every time I go to an event, I come home, I always bring home with a lot of new context, and it expands my network, right? So that connector's hat, that's how you get the most out of it. Any event, any seminar, not just learning. The second thing that I do is, for sure, I go there to learn. But the difference is, I think most people that go to an event, they try to memorize. Again, it's bad habit from school. Because in school, how do you get good grades? You memorize, right? You take exams. But in the business world, it's not like that. I go there, I want ideas and strategies that I can implement right now. So if I'm going to a 2-day event, I'm not trying to understand everything that the speakers talk about. I'm not trying to memorize everything that they talk or he or she talks about. That's crazy. I'm trying to get a few elegant, the key word is elegant ideas I can implement. Now, it depends on the length. In some cases, sometimes it could be 2 or 3. If I'm resourceful and if it's the right event, I might get like a dozen, maybe 10. And all I'm looking for is I bring that 10 ideas, 10 strategies back, and I can implement those as quickly as possible. What I believe is if I bring the ideas home, I bring the strategies home, if I don't implement those within 30 days, it's not going to happen. You come home, you get busy, again, business, life happens, now you forget about it, and then you're like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna look into it later. Guess what, you never fucking look into it again, ever. So the way I did to build momentum, while I'm at the event with my team, they will know, at the event, we're implementing shit. I learned this, you know what, let's do it. The guy is talking on stage, I am doing stuff, I'm sending email, let's do this, let's implement. Lunchtime, dinner, we're implementing. And we're implementing even before the flight home. By the time we're home, like it's things, we're just building momentum. So it's not just so much about learning, it's about implementation. I would rather I learn 10 elegant ideas and execute on 2 than learning 100 new ideas and not implement anything. Is that making sense to you? The third hat that I wear, so the first hat, connector. The second hat that I wear is just as a student, as a learner, right? The third is then I wear what I call the promoters or / speakers hat. Now I'm learning. So imagine me, I'm going to any conference. If you meet me at a conference, you see I have 2 sets of books. I have 2 sets of files if I'm taking notes with my cell phone. I have one note, it's what I'm learning from the speaker. Another file that I open is what are they doing? How are they delivering their story? How they are delivering their speech? How they are setting up the event? How's the staff trained? What's the flow? Right? What are things I could learn from how they do it? How they do it, right? Not just what they say. Oh, that speaker, the way he uses a story, that's fascinating. The way he sells, that's very interesting. The way they set the room, the light, and the whole experience, or the after dinner, all that's fascinating. I take a lot of notes on just how they run the event and the speakers and all of that. So that's my speaker or promoter's hat. So when I go to the event, I go there, I want to connect with people. I want to learn as much as I could with taking a few elegant ideas and implement immediately. And number 3, I want to look at what they do and what I can learn from that. That I believe when I go to the event, that's how I get the most out of every event, every workshop, every seminar that I attend. So it's not so linear. So think about it. Next time when you attend an event, how are you going to do it differently? How are you going to view the event? How are you going to get more things out of it? How do you get the value? And you ask yourself, where's the value? Right? I'm going to be here 3 days. I want to get as much as I could. I want to implement as fast as I could. I want to connect with the right people. You do that, I think you'll get a very, very different level of value from everything that you do. And then I think maybe then you'll love going to events more and more and more. And who knows, someday, you know what, maybe you and I will meet at an event. Maybe you come to one of my events. I don't do a lot of events anymore. I do once a year, once or twice a year. If you get a chance to meet face to face, I would love to shake your hand and maybe hear from you how my work has impacted your life and your business. Okay, stop. Maybe you've been watching my videos for some time now and you're learning something new. But you know what? Watching my videos, that's not going to make you successful. That alone, maybe you find it entertaining, you find it transformational, you find it informative, but that alone is not enough. What makes you successful is taking what I teach you and implementing. I don't want you to just watch my videos and learn from me and not take any action. You need to take that knowledge, what you've learned from me, and implement. And one of the things that holds you back, my guess, is you're afraid of success. And today we're going to talk about that. How to overcome the fear of success. So let me ask you a question. Are you afraid of success? You see, most people are not successful. There are many, many fears that hold them back. And a lot of people, they think it's fear of failure. That I don't want to fail. What if it doesn't work? What if it works a little bit and then it stops working? Then I look really stupid. It's that fear of failure that paralyzes people and they don't take action. That's very, very common. But another thing that I notice is this, that it's not just the fear of failure, but the fear of success that holds people back. They're afraid of success. They're afraid of the unknown. Let me give you some example. See if you experience any of these things. You're making some money, you are experiencing some success, but your business or your income is always like a roller coaster. You make a bunch of money and somehow something just happens and you lose that money. It could be some deal that you make, some investment that you do, and you lose that money. And you make some money and you lose money, and you make money, lose money. You never could really hold on to that money that you make, and you don't know why. And you say to yourself, you know what, that's just the way the business is. It's the business cycle. It's just the way that it is. Or maybe you are doing something in your business. You're doing something in your life, and it starts going well. It starts working, and then you stop for no reason at all. Something that's working, maybe it's a marketing campaign that's working, that's bringing you clients, that's bringing you customers. For no reason whatsoever, you just stop. You stop running those ads. I don't know why. but you just stop. Or maybe you always have to struggle. That you feel like, you know what, if I'm not struggling, then my accomplishment, it cannot be worthwhile because I always have to struggle. Or you always wait for something to be perfect. Is that you? That you're always waiting, I need everything to be perfect, to perfectly align, then I will take action. Or when it just starts to get good, and you do some stupid shit to sabotage the whole thing. And that's the pattern again and again and again. If you have some of these symptoms, then chances are you're afraid of success. And it's very easy to tell because usually if you have fears of success, chances are you have self-sabotage behaviors. That when something works, don't know how, you just fuck it up. It's like relationship. Hey, it just starts getting good, start getting serious, you fuck it up. Business, things are working well, money are coming in, somehow you do some stupid shit, you just fuck it up. That's fear of success. Why are people afraid of success? Because it's the unknown. You see, people know, they know how to struggle. They know what it's like to struggle because they've been struggling their whole lives. They know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. They know what it's like to not be able to pay the bills. In some way, they are almost addicted to their ups and downs. Because to them, when it goes up, I know it makes no fucking sense. It's not logical. Listen to me. When they go through their ups and downs, then when things turn into shit, they make it happen. They are like being forced back to the wall. They make shit happen. It gives them a little bit of that sense of self-worth. A little bit of accomplishment. That's why they're addicted to the adrenaline of solving problems, the stress. Oh, come on, Dan. It cannot be it. People, that's crazy. It makes no sense. I know it sounds like it doesn't make sense, but most people, they're actually addicted. Listen to me. They're addicted to the struggles. They're addicted to the struggles because that's how they get attention. That's how they get significance. That's how they can play that victims. Oh man, poor me. It's always me. Shit happens to me. Look at me, right? I'm sure think about people in your life. How many of them are addicted to struggles? Clearly, there's a better path. Clearly, they could do better. Clearly, they could improve themselves. Clearly, they could do, but they don't. You see, you just do this, everything will be fine. No, they just don't. Because they're addicted to struggles. I'll give you a very good example. A friend of mine who I've known for more than 10 years now, and he just a typical employee, and he works in a company, and he's struggling, and the company's going down. It's going to go bankrupt very soon. I've known him for 10 years. Now, with my connections, I could easily find him another better job, and I've done that. And I've done, hey, you know what? Just go here. I'll give you the recommendation. From Dan Locke, you'll get a better job right there. He never pursued that. Even if he was going to interview and stuff, he would somehow subconsciously fuck up the interview. He would say this the dumbest thing. He would say something to piss off whoever is the person that's interviewing them. And at first, I was trying to help him, and I realized, wow, actually, this friend of mine, it's kind of sad, but he's addicted to his struggles. He actually doesn't. He's so afraid because low self-esteem. And self-esteem is the foundation of all success. And I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm not talking about ego. I'm talking about your self-esteem. His self-esteem is so low. He doesn't even believe he deserves the good life. He doesn't believe that he deserves to be better. He doesn't believe that he could provide better future for his family. It's kind of sad. That's why he's addicted to his struggles. And I've tried to help him multiple times. And I've given up. Because he's addicted to his struggles. So if you have these symptoms and you're afraid of success, and you got to ask yourself deep down, is it the fear of failure that's holding me back? Or is it truly the fear of success? I'm afraid if this goes well, if it's going to change who I am, people are not going to like me anymore. Or how would my friends think of me? How would my parents think of me? How the people around me think of me? Or once I become successful, I'll get more fucking haters, like Dan, right, on YouTube. Or people would criticize me. or whatever it is. That's what's stopping you. Not that you don't know what to do, but that fear just stops you. And the best way to overcome the fear of success, I believe, is to get comfortable with success. How do you get comfortable with success? You only become comfortable with success when you believe this is something, it's part of who you are. It's your identity. So what I do is, that's why I tell people, dress for success. Get a fucking suit. Look better. When you look yourself in the mirror, it's not about the suit. It's about when you wear the suit, how do you feel? Right? When you dress a suit, how do you feel? Do you feel better about yourself? That image, and you start seeing yourself in a different way. And you know what? This is the way that I dress. I think I was watching a Facebook video a while ago, and I saw about this man going to these neighborhoods, kind of rough neighborhoods, and he's giving out these free suits to, like, tailor suits, free suits to these kids who in a neighborhood where there will be drugs, there will be, like, crimes and all this stuff, and helps them develop their self-image. Suddenly you can see the kids, teenagers, when they wear these suits, they feel better, they act differently, they're more polite. Why? Because they're shifting their identity. Oh, maybe, you know what, I'm not a gangster. Maybe I am a successful person. Maybe I am a good student. It's not the suit, it's how you see yourself. That's a very powerful way to overcome success. So you gotta just ask yourself, what are some of the ways that you can be more comfortable with success? Maybe it starts with the suit. It's just an example, but there are many, many things that you can do. Maybe in future videos I'll talk about more of that, how you get more comfortable with success. One of the most successful books of all time in the personal development space is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Have you read the book? Almost every single successful person that I know of have read that one way or the other sometime in their lives, including me. But I think most people, they don't really understand the book, or they read the book with what I call a filter. They don't actually get what Napoleon Hill was trying to teach and the message, the lesson he wants to convey. So how do you actually think and grow rich? By think and grow rich, it doesn't mean you just sit there and do nothing and you meditate and then money will fall on your lap. That's not think and grow rich. That's called meditate and grow poor, okay? That's not think and grow rich. So what does it mean? Now, if you read the book itself, almost everybody likes the first chapter, desire. Having the desire, having that focus, having that drive to be successful. Everybody loves that chapter. But the chapter that I think is the most important, that almost nobody talks about, is the 11th principle of achievement. And that is accurate thinking. Accurate thinking. What does accurate thinking mean? Now, I'm not talking about critical thinking. Critical thinking is analyzing the agenda and thoughts of others. Accurate thinking is you're looking at any situation or yourself or whatever is happening. What is the truth? What is true and relevant? That's called accurate thinking. It is the most difficult to do. Anything that we do, it is the most difficult to do. That's thinking time. If you were to ask me, take away everything I have, take away all the tools that I have in business, in sales, in marketing, everything I have, but you can leave me with one thing, what would I pick? Without hesitation, I would tell you, is thinking time. The ability to think. Because business is an intellectual sport. Creating wealth is an intellectual sport. Becoming successful is an intellectual sport. Not necessarily just how smart you are, but the ability to think. What is going on? Thinking time. Most people don't think enough. Henry Ford said it best. Thinking is the hardest work there is. That's why so few people engage in it. What do I mean by thinking? Does that mean you lock yourself in a room and just sit there and let whatever thoughts that come to mind and that's thinking? No. Let me teach you how to think. This is probably, to the right person watching this, it is the most valuable skill, the most valuable lesson that I could teach you. This is literally the one thing that has made me who I am today. The one thing that created Dan Lok. One thing, and that's thinking time. How it works. The way you think is very simple. You get yourself in a quiet environment. Maybe you turn on some music. Doesn't really matter. Thinking is nothing more than asking yourself profound and deep questions. That's what thinking is. I'll say it again. Thinking is nothing more than asking yourself deep and profound questions. When I say deep and profound, it means asking those questions that takes a little bit of time. You need to think about it, not a very surface level questions. Let me give you an example. If you ask yourself the question, why can't I make more money? That kind of quality of a question leads to poor answers, horrible answers. Because think about it. You ask your mind, well, why can't I make more money? What comes to mind? Well, because you suck, because you're no good, because you're not worthy, because nobody likes you, because nobody wants to buy your stuff. Nobody wants to do business with you. Or maybe you don't have enough experience. You don't have a track record. You don't have enough resources. You don't know the right people. All this shit, how does that help you in any way? A better question to ask maybe perhaps is, well, how can I make more money? But then that's also a very basic question. Basic question. But if you spend the time and you actually think about and sit down and dissect and you take the time to craft a very profound questions. So you could say, how can I make more money? How can you make that better? How can you make that question better? Okay, how about instead of being so vague and so general, instead of how can I make more money, how can I make more sales? There's a difference. If you run a business, how do I make more sales? Okay, how about let's make it even better? How can I make more sales without getting any new customers? That's interesting. You see how now you're thinking from a different perspective. How about this? Let me add one more layer. How can I add more sales? How can I make more sales without adding any new customers and without adding any new expense? Now you see how that's a high quality question. What you do is thinking time. You put yourself in a quiet space. You write that questions at the top. How can I make more sales without adding any new customers, without adding any new expense? And now you sit down and you grab a pen, a piece of paper, and you answer that. You take your time. Oh, well, I could sell more to my existing customers. Interesting. I can maybe increase my price so I can make more money. Interesting. Maybe I could also do a joint venture with someone where I only pay them on a performance basis. So if they bring in more sales, then I pay them. It doesn't add any more expense to what I do. That's interesting. Maybe I could also, instead of selling something one time, I can sell it in some kind of continuity. That's so my customers are paying me on an ongoing basis. Maybe some kind of membership. That's interesting. You see, that's thinking. It's not just, how can I make more money? You see, it's a very low level shit. When you take the time to think, that's how you grow. That's actually how you actually think and grow rich. This is very deep. So ponder on that. But if you get this one thing, this one skill, this is what makes you successful. That's the difference between the poor and the rich. The ability to think, to do accurate thinking on a consistent basis. That's the difference. Until next time, I'll see you, my Bentley.